Pilates playlists. It's a huge playlist. I don't know which one where one. Wait, let's see. We were.
Hello?
Ah, no, this one already watched.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep
No,
track
this
of
one
all my
didn't
tasks.
watch yet. Okay.
I start by brain dumping everything I need to get done.
Let's see. Wait. I'm renovating a circle closet into my new room, so we're isolating it, and now me and every other surface within it to mile radius is covered in sawdust. My spit is now beige. Oh my god, please. Oh, how can I help you with that? Oh, that's... I at least try and wear a face mask. But now that you have that speed, that color, bro, you have to be careful. I don't want you to die. Emotional sport, okay. You can do it, but please now rest. Don't proceed that so much work. That's too much work. Please treat yourself right and go rest doing something you like. Okay, because you already have too much dust in your lungs. Just rest and try to be happy and get comfortable. Okay? I will give emotional support. Never. They itch and I have too much acne. I would bleed. Okay, I understand then. Okay, so there's no way I... Okay, then you have to be... I don't know what to say. You have to be really careful, I guess. But please, if you need something, I'll be here talking to you because I can't go directly there to help you. Okay? I hope you get... but please rest a lot between those stuff you do so your body can rest, and you too, okay? You don't need to do that all today. Sorry, it's because I'm sleepy, but I slept well, don't you worry. But please be well. If you need something, please tell me. I can't go there physically helping you, but emotional support, I'll be here. What is it? Acting stuff, I guess. Ah! Why did I get scared because of this?
It's time.
Super Mario? Dreamcast. Bro, Dreamcast is a console, but I don't know how it looks
Welcome
like.
to Game Theory, where good things, or at least FNAF things, come to those who wait. And man, when it comes to this game series, no one was waiting for anything. I mean, the second game came out 3 months after the first, the trailer for the third was 2 months later, and like 4 minutes after that, the game was available to download. So forgive me if I was caught with my pants down on that one. I just wasn't prepared for it. But even more impressive,
How did they make so many games in such a small time?
Game apart. Hours after the release of the game, people were discussing good versus bad endings, 8-bit Atari cake, glitching through walls, and punching a flipping code into cement bricks arranged like a telephone dial pad. In regards to that last one, I have two things to say. First off, well done to you guys for figuring it out so quickly, and secondly, Scott, seriously. Seriously, Scott? Oh look, here's a wall. Let me just dial in my phone number. Beep,
What?
Beep, beep, beep. What? When did we jump from a point-and-click horror
They're
game
mid games. Okay, so that's why they got released so quickly. Thank you so much, Manolito. Okay, But how did the guy put a phone number in a wall?
Fantasy. This thing is like platform 9 3/4. I expect Harry
What?
and Potter to apparate into Pirate's Cove or something. Jeez, here I was thinking that you'd plug your numbers into, the one other place that you see numbers in this game, the bonus jump scare menu, or
What?
something, anything. But nope, dialing
There's
into a
extras
wall
on this?
makes so much more sense.
Yeah, no, that's
Okay,
kind of weird.
Sorry, just needed to get that one off my chest. Moving on. Now, with 15 days at Freddy's under our belts and a few overtime hours clocked in for good measure, we have ourselves a completed video game trilogy with the
No,
third
what?
game giving us
What
more jump
happened?
scares, more phone guys,
Oh my god,
and
why did I
more-
get scared with that?
Man,
Jesus
this game
Christ.
also contains the final clues we need to get some closure on this game's deviously vague story. Scotty C certainly didn't make things any easier for us, but at this point I think we finally
Ooh, a
have enough
puzzle.
puzzle pieces scattered across the 3 games to assemble a fairly accurate picture of this
Ah,
franchise.
it's okay. I will wait. Sim, mãe, estou a fazer stream hoje. Como é que estás? No typing numbers into numbers only in walls. Okay, I understand now. Eu daqui a pouco já acabo, mano, não te preocupes. Além disso, emoji fofinho, obrigada. És muito fofo, por favor não trabalhes demais, está bem? O baby vem daqui... opa, não te preocupes, eu trato isso tudo, tem calma! Tipo, o Armando vem tipo às 16, eu depois vou lá e abro o portão. Manolito, it's my mom asking me if I'm streaming now. And yeah, I'm streaming now, don't you worry. Não, eu ia fazer hoje porque é stream de comunidade e pronto, eu não podia adiar isto, eu não iria ter outra oportunidade esta semana para fazer, então estou a fazer hoje. Não te preocupes, mãe. Eu consigo arranjar tudo, não te preocupes.
Since you guys had a, let's just say, above average interest in this theory, I wanted to create something that answered as many questions as possible about this franchise. But beyond just the details, the question
Wait, what are
we
the
all want-
questions? Let me see the questions. What's the timeline? Yeah, true. What's up? True. I don't know. Manzanita Senior. So cute. Yeah. My mom is really cute. Thank you, Manolito. She's adorable. I swear, she's really adorable. Shadow animatronics. I don't know what shadow animatronics are. I don't know what that is. What is the bite of 87? I don't know what this is. Who is the purple guy? The killer. I think he's the killer. They did already a movie.
About this franchise. But beyond just the details, the question we all want an answer to is what exactly happened in the story throughout this series? It's a pretty fundamental question to not have an answer to, and yet, despite thousands of videos.
Hi everyone, Happy New Year! Oh my god, so cute! Oh, thank you, Mom. Cute tiny emojis. You're so adorable. Thank you so much. Oh my god, so cute.
Tumblr posts. Whoa, hey, put that away. You behave yourself. This game is already scary enough without you sticking your hook somewhere it doesn't belong, okay? Despite all those things, we still
Bro, that
have a
art
clear
was really
picture on the
weird.
details.
Jesus.
Yes, there's a child killer on the loose.
Oh my god, my mom is interacting! She's so cute!
Infamous purple guy who's been using Fazbear pizzerias
Oh
as
my
his hunting
god,
ground
so
vehicles for
adorable.
years, but going into the third game, we still weren't sure about who this guy was or even how many victims
Oh my
he'd
god,
officially
so
taken.
adorable,
Then
cute
there are
Timo, thank
animatronics.
you.
Sure, we generally understand that the killer's dead bodies have been stuffed into some of the suits, and that with the help of the puppet, the kids were able to find new life in those robotic bodies.
Oh my
But then, what
god,
about
oh my
Shadow
god,
Bob
Rob is here
and Shadow
too.
Freddy,
So
who
many
randomly
people, oh my
appeared in
god.
Smash 2 only to become prominent
So my
figures
god,
throughout
cute
Part
tiny
3.
motes,
How do
thank
they
you.
fit in? What about the ghostly golden Freddy? Someone we've been talking about since the first game, and yet we still don't really know anything about him.
Oh my god,
Well,
you
now
are
that we
also
finally
adorable.
have all the facts, I think it's time we revisit my timeline I presented in the last episode to see what I got right, what I got wrong. Yes, you heard that.
Lol.
Wrong. No shame. I'm a big boy. Mommy, wow, I'm a big
What?
kid now. And finally fill in the missing details to create what I believe to be my definitive Five Nights theory. And boy, howdy, it is
Oh, a horse!
doozy. So strap in, theorists.
It was a
You
horse,
wanted
so
it,
beautiful.
You're about to get it. Overall, the timeline of the franchise I presented in the last video still holds strong. Decades before the name became a horror legend meriting its own theme park style attraction.
It's a theme park, it's not
Fredbear family.
it's not a pizza thing, not a theme park. What are you doing, creator? You don't go at home? No, he comes here, don't you worry. Hey creator, my mom is asking me if you come today to celebrate New Year or no. The third game is a theme park. Ah, okay, thank you.
Diner. It's here where our story begins as Purple Guy
Some
takes
tempo
his
com
first
ele.
victim,
Oh,
something we
okay.
see in the Take Cake
I'll go
minigame
as eu gosto
of
nem
Five
de
Nights at
lunch.
Freddy's 2. What tells us that this
Oh
is
mano,
Fredbear
o chat a falar português and English, it's crazy. Eu aqui a mudar de língua como se nada fosse, Jesus. Oh my god, you're all so adorable.
and first in the timeline? Well, as I said last time, in addition to it being a small space, the only character we see is Freddy, whereas all other minigames feature multiple animatronics. He's also holding a cupcake, since that would later become Chica's signature item.
Feliz
The
año
event
para
that
todos.
this game must have
Ah,
come
yeah.
before she was
Feliz
created. Additionally,
Navidad,
notice that the
madre.
Purple Guy's murder takes place outside.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias pelo Papai Noel. My mom is so cute. Look at her. And my love is also so cute. Look at him. Giving
the
pet
building.
pets.
This is the only time we see him murder someone outside the walls of a Fazbear building, which implies that this is likely his first victim. Serial killers often have what's known as a signature, a way
What
of killing that's
signature?
unique to
I
him
am,
and
true.
him alone. For Purple Guy, his signature is dressing in an animatronic costume, then luring children to the back of the pizzeria and killing them there. But this murder occurs before he developed this particular style, implying that it's the first. From there, we know that
Okay.
the puppet jump scare that always follows this minigame, combined with the tier design on both the dead child and the puppet's mask, implies that the soul of the first child now exists in the puppet. The event caused the original owners to sell the Fredbear name, who then rebranded and avoided the
Okay.
negative PR, becoming what we know today as Fazbear Entertainment. They then opened a new
Fazbear.
chain of restaurants, which we never saw in the games until the release of Five Nights 3. This is not Fredbear Diner like many interpret, but rather the first location of Freddy Fazbear's
Não
Pizza,
tenho triqui-traque, nem fosforito, nem tumbaracho. Mãe, o quê? Oh, mãe, agora não percebi. Não tenho triqui-traque, nem fosforito, nem tumbarancho. Ok, não tens fósforos. Não tens... Os outros dois eu não sei. Mas obrigada pelo emote, I guess. Oh my god, mama. It's a little bombs. Ah, it's a sweet. Oh, mas se quiseres falar em português, está-se na boa. Eu falo contigo em português, não há problema.
the events of Five Nights at Freddy's 2. How do we know? Well, by paying close attention to the old recordings of Phone Guy dug up in
Phone
FNAF
Guy.
3, he introduces us to Freddy Fazbear.
Fósforos ou isqueiro? Olha, eu também não sei. Too used to on Happy New Year in Venezuela. Ah, bro, Why didn't you tell me that before? I could try and get that to you. I don't know what those are actually. I think I never tried them before.
Bear's Pizza, not Diner, before explaining the functionality of the special spring-lock suits.
Welcome to your new career as a performer/entertainer for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Right now we have 2 specially designed suits that double as both animatronic and suit.
That's weird.
Know that the animatronics are still
Portugal don't use only foguetes. Yeah, true. We only use here foguetes, bro. Or fireworks. Foguetes. No, mom, it's fireworks. Should I buy something for that? No, Jesus Christ. Well, no, ask my mom. Maybe she wants. I don't know. Ask her. I don't know.
Walk around freely during the day, meaning that this is happening before the bite of 87.
What is the bite of 87?
During business hours, removing their frontal lobe and resulting in the animatronics being restricted.
Fuego de artificio. Yeah, basically is that, sim. One time we tried that. I remember. Like na Madeira. Oh meu Deus, falar aqui, isto é tão engraçado. Aí o quê? Era. Então, queres fogo de artifício tipo na Madeira? Mano, nós. Epá, eu não sei se consigo arranjar tanto fogo de artifício, homem. Jesus, esteja adorável. Aí o quê?
Around only at night.
For ease of operation, the animatronics are set to turn and walk towards sound cues.
As Phone Guy informs us, and as we see in the stage 0.
A tua avó está a ver Baby Shark? Não pode. Ela está a ver Baby Shark. Como? Tu puseste no YouTube ou ela está a ver na TV normal? Ok, you'll get some Baby Shark. Ai, ok. Mas como está normalmente assim na TV? Ai, que estranho.
Let's go!
Thank you for the sticker. So, Creator, you're gonna get those confetti cannon tubes. You don't need to. Está a ouvir na televisão. Ok, eu não estava à espera que desse na televisão, sinceramente. Ela está a gostar ou não está a ligar nenhuma? Não sei. Talvez ela esteja a gostar.
For a 1 minigame, there are 2 specialty suits, a golden.
Nem eu, pois, olha, somos duas então. És mesmo adorável, pá.
Bonnie suit and the origins of the infamous Golden Freddy. But the lifespan of these spring-lock suits is actually short-lived as we learn about their.
Está a carregar em todo lado. Pois está outra vez com aquele problema de não decidir o canal. Oh mãe, não te chateies muito com isso, deixa estar. Apenas relaxa. Yeah, sure, I'll get 3. Okay, one for me, my mom and you. Okay. Also cute tiny emote, thank you.
Fatal flaw.
After learning of an unfortunate incident at the
Look at a bunny heads. Lol.
spring lock failures, the company has deemed the suit temporarily unfit for employees. The classic suit
What? The people could use this.
Now, let's pause here.
Gosto Café Creator, a big over. Big Orna. A minha mãe está-te a dizer que ela gosta de café e um grande, em inglês. Ela está a dizer em inglês e em português. Sorry, I'm trying to explain here. Malga. Yeah, you like malgas, bro, but I have to buy you the... pera, estás a falar em português, espera aí. Eu tenho que comprar uma daquelas enormes canecas para tu beberes. É o que tu precisas, assim não usas uma malga. É mesmo uma caneca enorme. Yeah, tu és mesmo adorável. Agora estás... You're speaking English now. You're so adorable.
Where else in the game do we see Bonnie and Freddy sharing a unique feature that no one else in the game possesses? Shadow Freddy.
Já vi uma dessas à venda. Sim, eu também vi no TED, eu vi lá. Oh my god, so cute! So many emotes, thank you! Tem uma, a sério. Tens uma e não me disseste. Ok. Se encontrar outra vez compro uma. Ok, obrigada. Dá à minha mãe que ela gosta. Com companhia da bicicleta. Bicicleta. Meu Deus. Vocês são todos adoráveis. Ok, olha, vocês são tão lindos.
And Shadow Bonnie. Could this be the origin of the paranormal Shadow suits? Yes!
Thank you for the cute emotes.
Actually, Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie are tied to the ghosts of the employees who died in the spring suits.
Okay, there were people inside that.
Out of the suits, which is why their appearance is more paranormal and why they can't possess them as well as the children can. Plus, having this as their origin.
Oh my god, thank you for the cute kitty. Thank you so much.
Would explain the in-game behavior of both suits. In FNAF 3, you see that purple guy hides in a secret safe.
Bro, so you're telling me that these things were also switched at the same time and people went inside of them and they died? People, where are you? Mom, wait. It's... Don't stress too much. Stay calm. Okay, don't you worry. Only the gold ones. Okay. Where are you from? I'm from Portugal. Constipation. Kinda, yeah. Mas não totalmente. I'm still waiting to eat lunch with my family. I'll go after. Don't you worry. My mom is asking where are the people in the chat. Don't you worry.
Room that has been built into every pizzeria. A room that's hidden to customers and
constipation means something else in English. Ay, jeez. If you want to explain to my mom, bro. Eu vou explicar. Mãe, constipação em inglês é basicamente tu tens diarreia.
Visible to the animatronics programming. During the minigames that occur between nights, you see Shadow
It's
Freddy
stuck in
and the other
intestines.
animatronics to this secret room, only to cause them
Oh my
to glitch
god.
out and then get torn
Lol.
apart by the purple guy. This supernatural origin story is how Shadow Freddy is able to
É
enter the
espanhol
safe
com
room
inglês.
with other
Mano, o que é isto? É espanhol com inglês. It's Spanish with English. Oh my god. Oh my god, you're all so adorable. In Portuguese, just having a cold through Spanish English. Oh my god, what? This is so cute and adorable. Jesus.
animatronics can't. How he's able to lead you to that room in the first place when other animatronics wouldn't be able to see it based on their programming, and even why he leads you there, knowing that purple guy attacking you will eventually free your soul.
Ooh,
That's
you'll
also
free
why
your
there's
soul,
no purple
Slay.
Freddy suit when you do finally enter that room. It's not an alternate purple guy costume like many believe, it's an apparition. Suck on that, Harry Potter. I knew
it's not
someone would apparate
real.
eventually. It also explains why Shadow Bonnie's minigame in FNAF 3 always starts on stage 01, the spring suits, and why it's the one animatronic we control that has the ghostly ability to glitch, fly, and teleport. As we concluded last episode, this is also the point in the
No, obstipation is when you don't evacuate. Mom, mãe, constipated é também problema de caganeira. Infelizmente, em inglês é English is weird. Don't you tell me.
timeline of the first missing children's incident, the one we learn about via newspaper clippings in Five Nights 1. So, based on the newspaper clipping evidence we have, we know that the mauve murderer dressed in one of the suits lured children to a back room and killed them.
Bro,
Started
why
to
though?
develop his signature, but one nagging
Estás a confundir conspiração com obstipação. Não é isso! Ai, como é que eu te explico? Ai, Jesus. Basicamente, it's pregnant. Oh my, talking about? Oh, Jesus. Constipação é vias respiratórias. Mas. Ai, eu agora já não sei, se calhar ela tá certa. Então, tipo, obstipação é cagueixe. Oh. Language can have the same word mean different things. True. Obstipação é cagueixe. Oh, meu Deus. Então agora estou confusa. A constipação é mesmo caganeira. Agora estou a pensar se é mesmo. Se calhar não é. Em inglês.
Detail FNAF theorists have been wondering is what suit does he use for his disguise?
I don't know.
Answer? Golden Bonnie. Why? Well, remember the phone guy saying the false
Yes,
suit
you can't cagation. No, I can cagation. I don't cagation now, but I'll cagation later. You know?
being retired appropriately.
Oh my god, what am I
There's a
talking
high
about?
likelihood
Jesus
they're being
Christ.
stored in one of the safe rooms in the restaurants.
In English. Eu disse que eu não vou cagar agora, mas cago depois. It's diarrhea. Just check it in the dictionary. Why are we talking about poop and diarrhea? This so. Okay, I guess we're kinda in a new stuff, I guess. Oh my god. Okay, what's the stuff in the dictionary?
Plus,
Tell me,
we hear in
please.
FNAF 2 that the purple guy has a habit of using a yellow suit.
Yellow.
Bear in the back, yellow one. Someone used it.
But why not Golden Freddy? Phone guy tells us so at the beginning of Night 5 in FNAF.
I kinda like it, some more cute. Obstipação é não consegues evacuar. Sim, já me disseste isso. Mas estamos a falar no inglês. Percebes? Estamos a falar no inglês. Ok? I think constipation is different in Portuguese and in English. Termo médico. Yeah, mas tipo, o termo médico pode ser diferente em inglês. I'm not sure. You know? Não tenho a certeza. Ai, Jesus.
Management has also been made aware that the
Constipation in English means obstipation in Portuguese. Pronto, a minha mãe, basicamente no dicionário, constipação em inglês significa obstipation em português. O quê? Isso. O quê? Isso ir saber é sim, mãe. Tá aí a explicação, mãe. Ai, Jesus, o teu quê? Tão fofo. Yeah, it's weird, but that's how it works.
noticeably moved.
My, what an oddly specific detail to include, Scott Cawthon. And remember, these
Vou
tapes
limpar
that
o
play
reino do
FNAF 3
cu. Oh, mãe, o quê? Por que tu estás a dizer o reino? O reino do cu? Ai, não pode. Se está constipado. Oficina em espanhol é assim. O quê? O reino do cu? Ai, caralho, o que é isto? Se está a oficina em espanhol não é oficina em português. Então qual é a oficina em espanhol e a oficina em português? Então, ai, Jesus. Ai, até os meus olhos ficaram coisas. Espera aí. Thank you for the cute emotes. Ai, Jesus. Ai, thank you. Ai, my god, that was so funny.
date all the way.
Oficina é escritório. En español. Okay. So in English is no, in Portuguese. Sorry, I forgot we're talking about Portuguese and English, and no, Portuguese and Spanish. Oh my god, I am speaking 3 languages. Oficina é mecânica. Oficina em português é talher em espanhol. E talher em português é garfos, isso. É verdade. Isso é bem estranho, mas é verdade. Bro, what?
Way back to the first pizzeria location, which is why this detail is so important. It reflects Purple Guy starting to develop his signature killing pattern. From there, we know the rest of the story. Purple Guy kills the kids, stuffs the bodies into the suits to hide them, but as we read the paper, is caught on camera and
Mi
arrested.
papá tenía un taller y era herrero. Madre, yo sé. Eres mi abuelo. Mi abuelo. Imagina nós fazermos. Imagina tipo essa parte do reino do cu e falar de conspiração e diarreia vai parar a um canal de clipes de Portugal na compilação. Bro, seria bué estranho. Ai, o quê? Não, seria bué fixe, mas tipo. These weird words with different meanings are quite tricky. Yeah, queres saber uma coisa? A creator na Venezuela, uma buceta. Desculpa, tweets. Mas tipo, uma buceta é um autocarro. El taller tiene muchos significados. Yes. I'm speaking the wrong language. See. I'm not joking, a creator, it's true. Not weirdest clip I've seen, not gonna lie. What's the weirdest one? But you have to send to them, I guess.
Meanwhile, the puppet gives life to the children, and the angry spirits possess
Yeah,
the
true,
robots.
you're adorable.
Or is that really how it goes? Let's go back to the give gifts, give life minigame.
Give
the
gifts,
children
give
are
life.
lying there
Interesting.
dead, and the puppet first tries to give them presents.
Talher também é faca e garfo e colheres. Yeah, sim. São talheres? Oh, pera, não, em espanhol também é. Ah, ok.
Weird, right? Weird until you consider that his place is at the prize corner. Giving
Ooh.
presents is the only thing he knows that can make children happy. It's a reflex. Remember, this is still a child spirit in this puppet, but when that doesn't work, the puppet
isso é
goes
triste.
around one more
That's
time and
sad.
does the only other thing it can think
I'm
of.
just so messed up now. I don't know what language to say.
Trying to save the children.
Talher também é uma
He's the one
carpintaria.
hiding them in the
Não
animatronic
sabia.
suits. Not the killer like we've been assuming. But then what about the fifth child?
Olha,
as there's
obrigada,
only
agora
4
sei.
here? Well, as we pointed out last time, the fifth child is there too, appearing at the very end of the minigame and taking the role of Golden Freddy. But remember,
Okay.
Golden Freddy is a decommissioned spring-lock suit at this point, deemed too unsafe to be functional. The reason he's slumped over and can't move like the rest is that his endoskeleton has been taken out. He's in suit mode, not free roaming mode. He physically doesn't have the mechanisms in place to stand up and move. Possessed or no, a dead child's spirit just can't give a boneless suit the ability to stand. This also explains the lone naked endoskeleton that appears occasionally in both Five Nights 2 and Five Nights 1, an endoskeleton that once belonged to Golden Freddy. Whew. I know I made you wait for this one, so I knew I had to make it.
Talher é um sítio de ofícios manuais, desde a pintura à mecânica de carros. Então vamos ter um talher. Temos um talher. Não, temos 2. Um para o carpintaria e outro para partes. Olha que lindo.
Count. Heck, if there ain't a lot to cover. Still with me? Good, because we're ready for our next location. You see, since the puppet hid the bodies, no one
Eres
knows they're in the
adorable.
suits until they start
Eres
oozing and
muy
smelling,
michi
which,
michi.
as we see in the papers, eventually gets the place shut down for health violations. The company tries to recover from quote,
Aqui é
the tragedy
atelier.
that took place
Sim,
there many years
atelier.
ago, but can't, and eventually is forced to shut its doors for good. This leads to the trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Finally, we're actually going to talk about a game in the series.
E a pôr isto na palavra atelier.
We've been going this whole time on locations that aren't even settings for the 3 main games.
Oh, yeah, faz
That
sentido.
is why this lore is so challenging.
E o do meu
but
pai à
also
oficina.
so
É
interesting.
verdade,
Anyway,
sim.
forgotten,
Olha quem
dismantled,
diria, atelier vem de talher. Olha. Não sabia.
These are the words you see at the beginning of the trailer. Back when the debate about whether this game was a sequel or a prequel to the first game, these words made it seem like a follow-up, that everything had been shut down since the first game, but it wasn't. These words are a reference to the business being closed down after that first missing children's incident. That's why
see
posters
is the
everywhere in
words.
Five Nights
True.
2 are all about the brand
Yeah, the
new
world is
Fazbear
weird with
Pizza.
its
It's
words.
the grand reopening after years of being out of business. That's also why the new toy animatronics have built-in facial recognition software to a criminal database. They need to be careful to prevent
That's so cute. I
another
love that
incident,
model.
but as we know,
Oh, thank you for the cute
work.
Santa
As we see in the
Claus.
Save Them minigame, 5 more children get killed in this new location.
Aw.
We know it's
But
the new
why do they
location
kill the
because
children?
minigame
Like,
map's
why?
layout perfectly matches this new Fazbear business. We
Oh.
also know it couldn't have happened earlier in the timeline, as both the old animatronics and new toy robots are presented in the game. But this time, the puppet
Se vir entradas
solution
pro
isn't
Cats.
saving the kids, it's stopping the
Oh mãe, olha, mãe, eu sei que tu queres ver o Cats, mas vai ser caríssimo. Não compres, mãe. Eu sei que eu queria ver o Cats, mas não compres, não é preciso, está bem? Opa, eu quero ver, mas tipo, eu não quero gastar demasiado, estás a ver? Eu queria ver, mas... E depois é longe e... Varia 30 a 65. Não, bro. Não, tá, é muito caro, mãe, não. Deixa estar, não te preocupes com isso. Tá bem? Porto. Uf. Não me digas, Creator. Mais viagem. It's true. I mean, é verdade. Epá, eu gosto, só que tipo... Se não fosse um problema que eu tivesse, tá-se, mas tipo... E depois a avó. Alguém tem de ficar com a avó 21 horas. É o quê? Às 9 da noite. É tarde. Ui. Tínhamos de deixar a avó já tratada e depois gira. Dá para comer pipocas enquanto se vê? Seria bom. Ao fim de semana seja às 16. Me parece bom. Mas o preço, pá. Qual a diferença? E é mais tratada a avó. Mate já está, mas já está esgotadíssimo. Oh, então não vale a pena, deixa estar. Depois arranjo o espetáculo para se ver na TV, não te preocupes, mãe. Não te preocupes, não te stresses, está bem? Às 16. Não acho que esta pipoca já é um teatro. Oh! Então, era bom era ter um pipocas esgotadeiros. Oh my god, they're so adorable. Jesus. Mas, mãe, don't worry too much about that, ok?
The killer.
Sábado e domingo. E apagamos para a TV. É que tipo, caramba, se já está esgotado e é caro e é longe. Só estou a conversar. Opa, também, mas tu parece que também queres ir. Eu também gostaria de ir, é verdade, mas... tipo... Eu acho que sabes, tipo, eu queria ver também. Eu quero muita coisa. Eu também quero e depois, qual é o problema? Eu quero e tenho. Na TV até a tua avó pode ver. Oh, mano, a minha avó não vai querer ver isso. Bro, a minha avó não vai mudar logo. Não vamos ter estabilidade. Aqui o Timo, thank you. Provavelmente a minha avó não vai querer ver.
He enlists the help of Freddy to try and savethem, leading the bear to the killer's location. Except Purple Guy
E com
came
pipocas.
prepared,
Isso é
with
bom.
not a phone.
Quero ir à Madeira e ver o fogo de artifício hoje. Queres? Epá, deixa eu ver quanto é que é um voo para a Madeira. Espera aí. A minha mãe não liga a isso. É por isso. Espera aí. Voos madeira hoje. Espera aí. Voos madeira hoje. Está esgotadeixa. Não está nada. Credo! 500 euros, Jesus! Bro, man, I don't have the money for that. Está tudo esgotadeixa. And my love sending Pegasus and ponies and my mom crying. Oh, mãe, não chores. Eu pelo menos estou aqui para ti, não é? Opa, talvez não seja suficiente, mas olha. Não, eu sou suficiente, fogo, eu sou incrível. Oh, amiga, vais ver dinheiro a queimar. Não, não vou queimar o meu dinheiro. 500 e há 500 paus para ir para a Madeira. Não estou a chorar. Oh, ainda bem. Oh my god, so cute tiny emotes. I don't know what that is, but thank you. A cara é de escândalo. Yeah, é um pouco impressionante porque tipo, Jesus. Cute tiny emotes, thank you. Your cute tiny face, thank you.
But rather something to help him tamper with the animatronics. He knows that something fishy is going on with
Aqui
his
tem
robot.
Jesus, é verdade. Oh, vês? Olha que lindo. Não é nada mal, vês? É bom.
Because he's been watching, studying. The puppet wants Freddy to
But
save
why
him,
does he
to
study
which the
them?
killer's answer is only this: you can't. So how did the purple guy manage it when he had been caught years before? What about the bite of 87? How do FNAF 1 and 3 fit in? And most
O baby. Ai, tão fofinho. Oh, thank you.
importantly of all, who is the purple guy? All
Como
that
falaste,
next
Jesus.
week. Don't worry, I'll come back.
Eu uso às vezes tipo. Eu uso também como expressão, tipo, ai Jesus, estás a ver? Eu uso isso. Então, eu digo muitas vezes Jesus nos streams. Tão bom.
I always do. In the
Eu sei. Ai, tão bobinha, ainda bem. Olha, eu e o Armando a darmos beijinho no bebê. Porque é fofinho. So
meantime,
cute.
it's all
Thank you
just
for
a
the cute
theory.
emotes.
A game theory. Thanks for watching.
Ai, Jesus.
Make sure you don't miss part 2 by clicking subscribe. Well, honestly, you still might miss it. The subscribe button is really just a glorified bookmark button. But still, it's the best you're gonna get, so might as well do it.
Tem novos
And while you're at
papás.
it, you know what else you should click on? The link in the
Obrigada.
description for some free food delivered straight to your door,
És
courtesy
mesmo
of
fofa.
NatureBox. Honestly, I love this service. NatureBox delivers boxes of snacks straight to your door. It's like having a year-long Santa Claus giving you tasty presents, or like those care packages your parents send you when you're away in school. It's awesome.
Thank you for the cute
And it's
kitties.
free.
Thank you so
Go to
much.
naturebox.com/MattPat or click that link. They have over 100 snacks to choose from. Even as I write, I'm munching on some
Ai,
lemon
que meu
tea
baby
biscuits and
cat. You're
strawberry Fizzy
adorable.
bars. Seriously, look, here they are. So you know it's
You're
something
so
I'm
cute
eating
and
myself.
adorable.
Anyway, it's free
Look
food
at
that
you with
doesn't require you to
tiny
leave your couch
cats.
or break your game theory marathon. Sounds like a win-win to me. So check out naturebox.com/MattPat and start snacking.
Oh, so cute. Look, tiny emote. Thank you. Okay, now we watch this one. Okay, this is kind of scary.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory. We may not have made FNAF,
Oh
but
my
I
god,
like to
thank you
think
for
we've
the
at
cute
least made
emotes.
it
Thank
a
you.
bit more interesting. So in part 1 of this long-awaited, all-questions answered FNAF theory, we covered everything from the origins of the shadow animatronics, to the reason for Golden Freddy's ghostly behavior, to proof of what suit the killer uses. We clarified the timeline and even went so far as to dispel the myth that the killer is the one shoving the bodies into the suits. Click here if you missed it to get caught up. Don't
Que
worry,
vai não
I'll
estás
wait.
vendo? Olha, basicamente alguém mandou-me esta playlist inteira para ver e eu estou a ver. Estás a ver? Eu tenho de ver isto tudo. Basicamente é sobre um videojogo, vá. É sobre a história de um videojogo, estás a ver? Tipo, por exemplo, há jogos que têm história, tipo o Subnautica tem história e tal, então isto são basicamente vídeos a explicarem a história de um jogo. Eu sei, estou a ver porque me mandaram. Por isso é que eu estou a ver.
Plausible video after all, but today we're covering the major questions from the franchise, the final bits of the timeline, the ending of the game, and most importantly of all, the identity of the purple guy. So enough intro, let's cut to the chase. When we left things off, there had been another round of murder done in Fazbear Pizza. Purple guy had once again used a Golden Bonnie suit to lure in another set of 5 kids and kill them, as depicted in the Save Them minigame.
Thank you, I guess.
Oh my god.
What does that mean? What did you just type, lol?
Reads November. There is not a single place in the world where November is a summer month. Not one. Meaning that these tapes, all these tapes, are pre-recorded. And honestly, that shouldn't be a surprise. Phone Guy's calls are recordings in every game. In
there's no summer?
Phone Guy dies, he says he's glad he recorded
No, wait,
there's
something else.
I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages.
Yeah, they're recorded, okay. You laughing, okay, it means that it's ha 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 ha. Lol.
Audio training cassettes. Dude, these are like prehistoric. I think they were like training tapes.
In short, all of Phone Guy's messages are unstuck in time, not recorded anytime near your tenure as security.
Okay, so the Phone Guy is from the past. Okay.
The pizzeria isn't being shut down for an investigation of some missing children the week you happen to be working there. You're listening to old tapes meant for the night security guard from months ago. Need more proof? Night 6's call references a birthday party happening as the last event before the building closes. But what decorations do we see put up throughout the building for the entirety of the week you're working there? Happy birthday banners.
Okay, who is making birthday?
You betcha. Game changing? Absolutely.
Why is there
this means that
what?
both Jeremy and Fritz, the characters you play as throughout FNAF 2, aren't the killer purple guy at all. They were both working in November after the Yellow Suit investigation and
Jesus,
the killer
knowing the
charged,
months is crazy.
Brings us to the other key point in the timeline, the bite of 87.
Bro, what is the bite of 87?
Nibble on that first fateful night at Freddy's, we've wanted to know more about this bizarre attack, the one that ends up resulting in animatronics no longer being allowed to walk around during the day. But now, 3 games in, we do know more. We know it took place in the location of FNAF 2 based on the 1987 date on Jeremy's page.
Yeah, it's there, you can know the
clipping that ends FNAF 2 gives us a clue that it's the bite which closes this version of the restaurant, not some serial
bites.
killing. Quote, after being open a few short weeks, the restaurant is closing its doors, the article says, with the new animatronics being scrapped for possible malfunction. That's game designer Scott Cawthon telling us that one of the new toy animatronics bit someone during the day. Why else would the new robots be scrapped while the old ones get kept for possible reorganization? Well, outside of an obvious need to retcon why these new robots didn't appear in Five Nights 1, it's because the company considered them safer, relatively speaking. So, then who's the biter? Well,
okay, so many now? Biter was a robot that seemed to be beating someone. Why is the
The frontal lobe
Ah,
is the
I
biggest
thought
part of the
that was the name of the
size
robots.
of the other toy robots' mouths just wouldn't be able to handle the size
Ah,
of the human
okay.
head,
Kinda
especially
weird,
when
I
you compare it
guess.
to the Mangle's narrow snout and wide open mouth. There's also Mangle's sharper teeth and potential angle of attack, as shown by its jump scare.
Oh my god, look at
to the top
that.
of the head. And who got bit? Well, there isn't enough evidence to say definitively, but your most likely candidate
Ah,
would be
Jesus, that's
fan
scary.
favorite Jeremy Fitzgerald. Jeremy passes the test, and on his paycheck at the end of the week, he's welcomed into the family, presumably getting moved to day shift. Fritz
Aw.
gets hired to replace him on day 7, but then promptly gets fired for tampering with the animatronics. That means he's not likely the one to get bit, and instead the person who follows him on day shift is, leaving Jeremy as the most likely frontal lobeless candidate. But regardless of whether it's Jeremy or some other customer we've never met, someone gets bit, the restaurant closes for good, and as the newspaper clippings
Well,
show,
they
the old
react as it
animatronics
was a
go into
dog
storage,
biting, it
awaiting
was a
smaller
robot.
location with a lower budget. Fast forward to the 90s and FNAF 1. We know it's the 90s based on the hourly rate of the paycheck received by Mike Schmidt, security guard extraordinaire from the first game, something we proved in our first Five Nights video. And now we
Yeah.
can breathe a sigh of relief.
They're using
because
salaries
this
to know
was
the
a
years, it's
beautiful time
crazy.
long ago, last August, when the games weren't so complicated, when the biggest mysteries were a game-crashing gold bear and the words, "It's me." No death minigames, no puppets, no need to shoehorn in extra overcomplicated storylines. That all would come later when the first game became a smash hit and got itself some sequels. And
Yeah.
boy, did those sequels
There's
make
so
things
many games
complicated.
now,
As both
Jesus,
featured
and
8-bit
books.
minigames revealing more details about this location from the original game. First things first, we know that the purple guy kills 5 children
But
here.
why?
We see it in the Foxy Go 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 minigame from FNAF 2. Foxy runs past a grinning purple guy to see 5 dead bodies. Sorry, no fireworks this time, Foxy. And how do we know it's the FNAF 1 location? Well, it's the only time in the game when Foxy's stage, Pirate Cove, is located to the west of a dining area. See how
Bro,
he
the
performs
guys
for
to think
children by
about this
running
is
to the right?
crazy.
That matches the map layout of the FNAF 1 pizzeria. We
No,
also know from the
actually
FNAF
just
3
solving
minigames
this,
that
it's
is where
crazy.
The purple guy dies inside a golden Springlock Bonnie suit in a
Sequel
safe room near the
boss,
back.
it's crazy
One knows that
nowadays,
it would never
yeah.
show up on camera,
It's so
conveniently
big,
explaining
like
why it
it's
never appeared
the
in
one
first
piece of
game.
games,
But
I
hold
guess.
on, weren't those safe rooms sealed up a long time ago? I mean, we touched on this last episode, but the old recordings of Phone Guy we listened to throughout FNAF 3...
Even though I never
these
saw the
rooms
books
are
on
being
sale.
closed off,
Like selling them.
and will never be mentioned again. Why would a location 20 years later possess a safe room unless it was the same building as the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza
What?
location? That's why it's in such disrepair when we see it in the FNAF 3 minigames, boarded up with rats on the floor. It's been
Rats?
closed down for years, which also means the dead kids from the Foxy Go 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 minigame aren't another set of new victims, because seriously, at this point, the killer would have made his way through like a short bus full of pizza-hungry children. No,
What?
those kids are the first 5 dead kids, the ones who would eventually possess Old Bonnie,
I seen them.
Freddy
Where?
Foxy, and Golden Freddy. I mean, look, if the animatronics were possessed at this point, don't you think Foxy would be attacking Purple Guy rather than just running past him to perform for some dead kids? This also explains the random cutscene from FNAF 2 where the puppets look
Jesus.
into Freddy's eyes. You can tell by the tables in the background and the design of both Bonnie and Chica that this is the FNAF 1 location with the old animatronics on stage. But it's not a flash forward to the game's next location, but rather a flash back to the moment the puppet brought these
Okay, this is getting
characters,
confusing.
these
I'm not
children,
understanding
to
this
life.
anymore.
Okay, but that's just tying together some loose ends in the story. We're interested in how this whole thing ends, and those FNAF 3 minigames give us the conclusion we're looking for. These flashback minigames show Purple Guy dismantling the animatronics from the security of the safe room one by one. But in doing so, he's unwittingly releasing the spirits of his former victims. Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, Golden Freddy. When
Why
their
does Chica
powers
have teeth?
combine,
It's
they
a
are
chicken.
able to scare Purple Guy into the Golden Bonnie Springlock suit, which fails, crushes him pretty much to the point of death, though notice we never actually see him die, and the spirits fade away. Golden Bonnie, with Purple Guy inside, now known as Springtrap, rots away in the safe room for years until he's finally uncovered by the founders of Fazbear's
Okay, the
Fright
guy
in the
died, I
third
guess.
game. With the discovery of Springtrap, this haunted house attraction inspired by the years of mystery and murder of the pizzeria chain finally has their first real animatronic, who then haunts the player for 5 nights and a nightmare night until the place burns down due to faulty wiring.
What?
The end.
Whoa.
Take a bow. It's finally over.
No, it's not
Kinda.
true.
We're still left with one final, seemingly impossible question to answer. Who is the purple guy? After spending, I kid you not, full days plotting out all the details of this game franchise on whiteboards, talking it over with anyone who would stand to listen to me ramble on and on about fictional haunted robots, and just looking at it from every possible angle, all logic points to it being
Wait, what?
finally has their first real animatronic, who then haunts the player for 5 nights and a nightmare night until the place burns down due to faulty wiring. The end. Take a bow. It's finally over. Well, kinda. We're still left with one final, seemingly
Why is there an alien?
impossible question to answer. Who is the purple guy? After spending, I kid you not, full days plotting out all the details of this game franchise on whiteboards, talking it over with anyone who would stand to listen to me ramble on and on about fictional haunted robots, and just looking at it from every possible angle, all logic points to it being the phone guy. And no, not because I made a
you
theory
already
about it and
told
refused
us
to let it
that.
die. Honestly, I couldn't care less if that last video was wrong. At this point, I just care about the truth, and phone guy makes the most logical sense. I know your complaints, and I promise you, if you stick with me, you'll be convinced. First, there's the circumstantial evidence I presented during my FNAF 2 theory. Phone guy's admitted love of Foxy being reflected by the smiling purple guy sprite during the Foxy Go minigame. His distrust of the puppet, a creature haunted by his first victim that we see time and time again trying to bring a stop to his killing spree. His admitted role as a security guard, and even the weird phone-like object in his hand from the Save Them minigame. But there's even more evidence when we consider Five Nights 3. Consider this. He's the only person in the game who knows about the safe rooms. As we mentioned before, all the safe rooms were sealed up back in the Springlock suit days, back in the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza location, meaning every other employee coming afterward would have never even heard of these things. Phone Guy is the only character we meet who would have any knowledge of these rooms, and more importantly, of how they operate, how they're invisible to the cameras, and more importantly, to the animatronics. And that's just the beginning. He's also the only person who knows how to use the Springlock suits. Again, once they were decommissioned, the suits were hidden away. Regardless of whether you believe that the killer used a golden Bonnie suit the whole time or you think he used a golden Freddy suit, either way, we know for a fact the killer was using one of the yellow spring-locked suits, and Phone Guy is the only character we know who had knowledge of A, where they were hidden, and B, how they were operated safely. Now, I know a lot of people have said that it couldn't have been Phone Guy because he knew better. He knew that they were dangerous and could kill him, so if he was indeed the purple guy, he wouldn't just hop into a Springtrap suit like we see depicted at the ending of FNAF 3. But there's one key detail that everyone has been overlooking and that Scott carefully included in this game. Listen. Hear it? There's rain. There are puddles on the ground. It's dripping from the ceiling. The killer had been using these Springlock suits safely for years, but in his panic to escape the ghosts, he failed to notice the wetness of the building around him. The killer had never encountered this problem before because the building had always been in a decent state of repair, but now it's a wreck, torn apart by age. Rain is able to seep in, something he didn't realize when he was in such a hurry to run away from the ghosts. And if moist breath can loosen loosen the locks, you can bet some rain would make those suckers ready to snap shut.
Jesus.
And they do, killing our killer. I mean, all of that makes a pretty compelling argument, almost an open and shut case, if there wasn't one final major criticism to the phone guy theory since the release of FNAF 3. And it's a good one. The fact that phone guy seems to die during his night 4 phone call from the first game.
Hey, listen, I may not be around to send you a message tomorrow. It's been a bad night here for me. I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages for you. When I did.
If Phone Guy was the killer, why would the robots still be active after his death and the ghosts
who was
disappear?
banging
It just
the
wouldn't
door
make sense
in
unless
the
you stop to
cassettes?
consider the rest of FNAF 3's endings. The big twist in FNAF 3 is the inclusion of a good and bad ending. By completing the game normally, you get the bad ending, in which we see Purple Guy die in a flashback minigame, and the whole thing ends with 5 masks representing the 5 main animatronics with lights on behind their eyes. The good ending, meanwhile, requires using some not-so-subtly hidden clues to unlock minigames, then basically ignoring those games, glitching them out, and giving hidden dead kids cake to make them happy, obviously referring to the victims of Purple Guy. Beat the game this time, and the ending is largely the same, but with 1 fewer animatronic mask and no lights on. The obvious difference here is that in the good ending, the souls of the dead children have been put at peace. When they disappear for good. They don't go back to their animatronic bodies. But the bad ending, the lights on behind the eyes of all 5 masks mean that these guys are still active. Angry, restless spirits still haunting the robots to this day. Because here's the thing, the good ending doesn't exist until you, as the player of the 3rd installment, give cake to those kids during FNAF 3's hidden minigames. What you play in FNAF 1, though, is the aftermath of the bad ending, when the animatronics have killed Phone Guy but are still out for vengeance. Yeah, you made it through those first 5 nights at Freddy's. You overheard the death of the Purple Guy recorded live on the phone, but it wasn't enough. You got the bad ending. Even with the killer crippled in the back room in a spring-lock suit, the lights are still on in these animatronics. They're still roaming the halls, attacking anyone wearing that much-hated security guard outfit. People like Mike Schmidt, an innocent guy just trying to do his job at a failing pizza restaurant. And as the final nail in the coffin, what Phone Guy says in his Night 4 recording perfectly foreshadows what we see in the games.
Maybe sometime you could check inside those suits in the back room. I'm gonna try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad.
What?
I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there.
Think about what Purple Guy does. He hides in a back room, the safe room, hides in a suit, and despite getting sprung-trapped, actually does hold out until someone checks. Holds out long enough for the phone dude to find the hidden safe room, recover the animatronic, and set him free in Fazbear Fright. Exactly what the Phone Guy said he'd do in his final moments. And as Springtrap, he comes back in FNAF 3. Comes back like he always does. And with no real animatronics present at Fazbear's Fright, remember, Springtrap is the only real one they've found, with all the rest scattered, probably located in dumps, which is why their bodies and faces are decaying. All that the spirits can do is appear as phantoms, hallucinations. Well, all except one. The puppet, who we see in his physical form roaming the hallways of Fazbear Fright. So real, in fact, that we see his reflection visible in the pools of water under his feet, meaning he is there and unburnt. There's only one way to truly end this. End the murderous Purple Guy, burning the place to the ground. The puppet gave robots life, gave spirits peace, and finally gave the murderer, the Phone Guy, his long-deserved death, or at least tried to. And that is the end of the Five Nights at Freddy's story. No hack,
no, it's not.
No movie, no 4th installment.
There is more.
Oh, no.
Kitty!
No! 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 No!
Oh my gosh, what happened? What's wrong?
Look!
Oh no.
But hey, that's
What?
just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you enjoyed these theories, show your appreciation by subscribing to the channel. Seriously, I spent more blood, sweat, and tears on these scripts than I have on the entire 4 years of this show. You know, hopefully you liked it, hopefully you're satisfied with the conclusions I reached, and hopefully you decide to subscribe as a result. Wouldn't mind it. Now then, welcome back to the Super Amazing End Card Tournament.
What?
For today, I just have a simple question. Are you excited about a Five Nights at Freddy's movie? Click over here to say yes, click over here to say no, and oh my gosh, it's Purple Guy, watch out, he's gonna kill you.
What? Calm down. Okay.
Sorry, Scott Coffin.
Look at
Tired of
Sonic.
waiting for you. This time you'll have to keep up with me. Oh, never mind. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, where instead of waiting for FNAF 4 to be released, this time we're getting out ahead of the game. Or at
Okay,
least that
how?
was the plan. Scott, I swear you are the biggest internet troll out there. Oh, it's being released October 31st. Okay, let me plan my entire schedule around that. Never mind, it's now in August. Okay, fine, let me rework everything. Lols. Here's the full
Lols.
version now. You, Scott Cawthon, are the reason I have an emotional dependence on Diet Coke. But today I'll be sipping that
Oh, that's so
sweet,
cute.
sweet Diet Coke in sweet, sweet victory. Because guess what? I win! Scott, in your rush to get the game out, to get out ahead of my theories and completely flim-flam the internet and shock everyone by releasing the game 3 months early, you missed a huge detail. Maybe before releasing the game, you should have spent a bit more time researching, because this game, as you've presented it, is impossible.
Why?
Explain. Basically, it's all but confirmed at this point that in FNAF 4, you play as the victim of the bite of 87, and that this game is either his
Okay.
nightmare or what he's seeing in a coma as he recovers from his injuries. Let me run you through the evidence real quick so that we're all on the same page. First, in the months leading up to the release of the game, there were clues hidden in the source code for some of the teasers on Scott's website, with the numbers 8787 repeated over and over again. Two numbers that anyone who hasn't been living under a rock will recognize as a key date in the franchise's lore, the bite of 87. This is further supported by the text on the teaser images. All of the pictures released on the site basically ask the same question: was it me? Which seems to refer to the actual attacker of the bite itself. But there was one more word we saw repeated throughout the teasers: nightmare. Hidden over top of multiple teaser images was that exact word. That, combined with the Freddy Krueger-ish design of the animatronics, with teeth and claws everywhere, something far different from how we've seen these things designed in the past, seemed to indicate that this would be the way a child would imagine these creatures if he had had a traumatic experience with them.
Yeah,
Making it
true.
seem like what we would be playing would be a dream. Couple that with some evidence from the trailer. The first words are, "What is it you think you see?" making us question the reality of the images in the game. But there was also
Bro,
something that
if I play this game, if I play these games, I'm gonna be so scared.
Scott doesn't do things randomly, as I'm sure we're all aware by now. And notice the movement of the 4. It starts off in a horizontal plane, like it was laying down on something, say a bed, but then wakes up to stand vertically before the trailer ends. Even that remnant red rectangle is meant to symbolize the bed. Everything seems to be letting us know that what we're seeing isn't really real, it's a dream, or better yet, a
nightmare.
Now, fast forward to the game's release, or I suppose casually meander to the game's release since it wasn't too long afterwards, and we see that this theory still holds. Flowers, an IV, and pills will occasionally show up next to your bed. Classical medical supplies that show us that this is a child in recovery. Foxy, who's hiding in a closet, will transform back to a plush toy if you hold the door closed on him long enough, making it seem like this was all a dream.
That's a cute
or
plushie.
And of course, the biggest piece of evidence of all, the cutscene that ends Night 5. Which, if you don't want a spoiler, click here to skip. All of you skipped now? Good. Actually shows the bite of 87 take place in the mouth of the golden Fredbear. This is further supported by the quote-unquote game being that same golden Fredbear, where in the final nights, he's the one who ends up stalking you. All the other animatronics disappear. You're being haunted by the suit that bit you. So yeah, that's it. All the evidence points to the victim of 87 being our protagonist, the character we're playing as in FNAF 4. Good job, Scott. You finally put together a game with a coherent plotline. Except you didn't. Scott Cawthon, if all of us are right in our theory, then you, sir, are wrong. Just when it looked like you were making a game that actually adhered to its own lore, you also made a game that is completely impossible from a scientific perspective. Loyal theorists, it's
What
time
do
we
you
give
mean
Scott's
it's
latest bag of
impossible?
tricks a little lesson in real-life science.
Ooh.
While frontal lobe injuries aren't as uncommon as people think,
Okay.
actually they happen all the time in car accidents, playing football, falling down, etc.
Ay, Jesus.
Having your whole frontal
It
lobe
looks like
bitten
an
off
S,
has a
but
much
okay.
more profound impact on mental and physical functions. It would come with a whole slew of symptoms from motor skill impairment to nervous system issues, but the side effects we're most concerned with today would all be psychological. Removal of the frontal lobe significantly impacts the victim's ability to process certain types of stimuli, specifically fear stimuli. Let me give you some backstory. In the good old 1940s and 50s, psychiatrists often thought the best way to cure problems with the brain were to cut pieces out. Feeling
Yeah,
depressed? Well,
that
let's
was
split that
really
out.
dumb.
Overly aggressive? That chunk probably wasn't important. As such, there are extremely well-documented studies of patients without frontal lobes, and what's fascinating about them was what happened to their fear response. Patients without a frontal lobe become uninhibited because they no longer have a fear response. Way back in my Fallout episode, we looked in depth at the most famous accidental lobotomy in history, Phineas Gage.
Yes,
who
I
literally
read
had an
about
iron
that.
rod shot straight through his head, completely destroying his left frontal lobe. One of the most striking differences between pre-Pole Phineas and post-Pole Phineas was his sense of inhibition. And by that I mean post-Pole Phineas had none. He had no sense
he
of
changed
caution, no
completely.
sense of fear or self-consciousness. He was described to be impulsive to the point of being rude and vulgar in public. No fear, no anxiety, no social pressure anywhere. Going back to the game, one of the things Scott does a great job of throughout the FNAF franchise is putting you in the eyes of Mike or Jeremy or whoever. We feel invested in our protagonist because we are that character. But in this case, that's scientifically impossible.
Why?
Specifically because of the bite of 87. If the main
Oh, wait,
character of
already
this game
explains.
truly is little Timmy lost a lobe, he wouldn't wander around a house clicking a flashlight on and off. Why would he? He doesn't care, because tragically, he no longer has the capacity to care. His brain structure no longer allows it. As if this weren't enough, a frontal lobe injury also tampers with concentration and attention span. The main character in the game is still supposed to be concentrated over a long period of multiple hours. But the thing is, patients without frontal lobes don't have this ability. In fact, they can only stay focused on what they see immediately happening in front of them. A child missing a frontal lobe who repeatedly turned a flashlight on and off in a hallway without seeing anything would lose interest. They wouldn't have the mental wiring necessary to concentrate on self-preservation. They would literally just go back to bed. The game is
maybe the guy
impossible
didn't
the way
get
it's being
damage on that
presented,
part of the
because
brain.
it would literally be over before it began. But the final and biggest nail in the coffin for this one is how frontal lobe injuries affect the imagination. The frontal lobe controls a ton of mental processing abilities, including dreams. You might think that an uncontrollable imagination would lead to exactly the kind of nightmares or hallucinations you see in this game, but in fact, it's the exact opposite. Rigorous studies have been done on the imaginations and dream states of lobotomized patients. While patients without a frontal lobe can have dreams, one thing they can't have is nightmares.
Slay, I guess.
Frontal lobe carry their lack of fear and inhibition.
Bro, it's not slay and not slay, because it's not slay, you don't have part of your
If the
brain.
mind isn't registering fear consciously, there's no reason to process it subconsciously in a dream. Studies show that lobotomized patients can dream about idyllic scenarios, money, fame, praise, but they can't dream about the monsters under the bed, or in this case, the Foxy in the closet, making the nightmare state of FNAF 4 impossible for the victim of the bite of 87. In fact, going back to the dark days of psychiatry, some patients who experience the kind of recurring nightmare we see in FNAF 4 actually had their frontal lobes intentionally removed to stop these dreams from happening.
Jesus.
One famous case describes a patient who was experiencing a recurring dream of being chased by ferocious animals. After the patient received the lobotomy in 1953, yes, he still had the dream, but would instead describe it as being a nice dream with some nice animals. His visions in the dream were no
so
longer
cute.
threatening. The animals were happy, he was happy, and he was no longer able to perceive any of the fear he once had prior to the surgery. So scientifically speaking, there is no single way the main character of FNAF 4 can be the bite of 87 victim like Scott seems to have indicated. Sure, the game could be about another kid, I guess, but that would be lame. No, this game is meant to be about the victim of the bite of 87. The poor kid who wasn't just attacked at the restaurant, but continues to be tortured through nightmarish visions, dreams, coma-induced hallucinations, whatever. I have zero doubt that that's what Scott intended, but the fact of the matter is, he just didn't do enough homework. A kid with those sorts of injuries wouldn't care.
My
about
god,
those
they're
things
gonna
in the
hurt the
first
kid,
place.
it's so
He
bad.
would have no fear, and there would be no animatronics, real or imaginary, that would be able to keep him up at night. Biologically speaking, nothing he would be experiencing would be any scarier than the fan.
Lol.
The fan. Sorry, Scott.
Why is there always a
Better luck
fan,
with you.
bro?
But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. So that's the science of FNAF 4, but I'm working on picking apart the lore now. It'll take a few weeks, so make sure you subscribe to get notified of when that comes out. And to help you wait, click here to check out my all-new theory on how the characters in Dragon Ball Z pull off their famous Kamehameha waves. The science behind it all is actually incredibly cool. I mean, who hasn't wanted the ability to shoot energy beams out of their hands, right? So anyway, click there to check
Science
it
in
out. Or if
Dragon
you're in the
Ball,
mood
it's
for more
crazy.
FNAF goodness, binge watch some more creepy theories on the franchise by jump scaring this box right here. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go get a lobotomy so I don't have a fear response to that fan anymore. Oh, the fan. It's purple now?
Purple?
Forget purple man, purple fan? Ugh.
Poor fan, bro. What the fan did
Oh,
to
and by
you?
the way, get comfortable. The Steam page for this says it's the end of the original story, which means there are going to be plenty more on the way. We have yet to leave Freddy Fazbear's.
Okay, so the 4 is the end of the main story.
There's gotta be a code to open this. Bite of 87. New text? I must be close. Incident of 83. 1 movie. 11 animatronics. 11 kids. 1 phone guy. 1 killer. Hex code for purple backwards.
What?
Is that Markiplier?
Where?
Yes, MatPat. It was
Bro,
me.
no
It
way.
was me the whole time, and that's no theory.
Jesus Christ.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to the Five Nights at Freddy's podcast.
Really?
Sorry, I mean Game Theory.
Ah,
Game
okay.
Theory. The show that covers theories on other games in the 2-week intervals between new installments of FNAF. But if I'm ever gonna see requests for games other than FNAF 4 in my Twitter feed, this video needed to be made.
Hey, Shadow of
because
Colossus
I have a
is
confession,
cool,
Internet.
bro.
I made a mistake. My
Or-
last FNAF video. Not my research, mind you. My conclusion that this kid scientifically could not be the Bite of 87 victim was actually 100% right, both scientifically and, as you've been eager to point out, lore-wise. No, I was wrong in calling this the Bite of 87. I'm man enough to admit my mistakes.
Okay,
It's why they're called
so
theories
what
in
is
their
this
own right.
about?
Anyway, in this case, Scott is sure to let me know my error in his first comment on any of my videos on the franchise to my knowledge, which was really exciting, but it did leave me wondering, should I feel honored or
What?
controlled? And let me just say, because you were asking,
No.
I didn't delete that
Então
comment.
pronto,
I
já.
only delete comments from game theory.
Relaxa,
No, I
descansa.
don't want your free PSN codes, okay? So I guess Scott must have deleted it himself. Maybe there was a typo. Or maybe a clue to FNAF 5. But before we get that far ahead, let's close the book on FNAF 4. First, let's set the record straight on where it takes place. It does not take place in Fredbear Family Diner, but rather the first location of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, the one from the old phone guy tapes found in FNAF 3. But the spring-lock yellow suits are the only ones there, I hear you typing. And you're right, they obviously are, but remember, phone guy's tapes in FNAF 3 welcome you to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, not Fredbear Diner, before he tells you about their, quote, specially designed suits. Roll that cassette tape.
Welcome to your new career as a performer slash entertainer for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Right now, we have 2 specially designed suits that double as both animatronic and suit.
Specially designed, i.e. not in existence during the Fredbear era. Plus, in that same set of phone calls, Phone Guy tells us the suits have become
Why is that
deficient
lighting
after
up?
an incident where there were, quote, multiple simultaneous spring lock failures. What do we see at the end of FNAF 4? An incident where multiple spring locks fail simultaneously and a child dies. And let me be clear, because the terminology is pretty confusing. In the game, the word spring lock is used to describe both the suit as a whole and the individual locking mechanisms within that suit. A spring lock suit is made up of multiple spring locks. To have multiple simultaneous spring lock failures, like Phone Guy says, would either mean multiple suits going down at the same time, which is a bit coincidental and hard to believe, or that multiple
Que
locks
coisa do
within the
cabo?
same suit collapse at the same time, causing a catastrophic failure. Say, for instance, because a child is squirming to escape and his tears are moistening the locks. Right. And besides, don't you think it'd be weird for Fredbear's Diner to
Não,
use
mas
these
é
suits, have them kill a
Ai,
child,
tá.
sell
Eu
it
depois
to the company, and
digo,
then Freddy
pronto.
Fazbear's Pizza starts using them again? It just wouldn't make a lot of sense. Long story long, although Fredbear and Springtrap are the featured attractions at this restaurant, this is a Freddy Fazbear branded joint, one dating back to, as we see on the TV set, 1983. But enough about the timeline. I don't want to dwell on it in this episode. To me, having a general placement of the timeline is enough because the most interesting part of this game is the ending and its overall
Okay, what's the
meaning. Like I said in
ending?
the other FNAF 4
You know, the
video,
guy-
if this
the-
was
the-
just a random kid
he
who
got
bit,
bits.
that would be really lame. So how does this particular kid fit into the overall lore? Why
I don't
is
know.
this incident of 1983 so important to show? Who is the FNAF 4 kid, and what does the ending line of "I will put you back together" mean? Well, let me tell you, the evidence points to him being the puppet.
Huh?
The evidence. First, many have
No
pointed out
way.
streaming tears down the kid's face, which mimic the tears down the puppet's mask. Okay, sure, that was good evidence when we first saw them in FNAF 2, but at this point, those nice pixelated streams are on nearly every chubby-cheeked kid who's ever entered these restaurants. So alone, it's not much to go on. But we can take it one step further. While the tears themselves might not be interesting, look at this. It's a screen from the Mangle minigame back in FNAF 3. This
Okay.
weird, crying giant silhouette was just kinda out of place in the last game. And all us FNAF theorists just kinda glossed over it in our analyses.
You know,
since
Mangle,
seriously,
like,
what
pixelate-
is it? I mean, it
pixelated,
kinda looks
it's
like the
cute in a
puppet,
way.
right? With its overall fabric feel and its thin striped legs. I mean, that's what I thought at the time, but again, there was really no reason to bring it up since it just didn't fit anywhere. But now we have a new game and new information that might make this make sense. Look at its body position. Notice anything specific about it? It resembles a position we see our FNAF 4 kid in a lot throughout the game, including his final scene, kneeling down, two streaming tear tracks.
Why is he
and his face
kneeling?
turned 2/3 toward the camera. Do you see the connection here? But not only that, look at what our kid wears. A black and gray striped shirt. And remember, this is in a world where all the other kids are generally wearing single color outfits. It's an oddly specific detail.
True.
Now I ask you, what's the signature look for the puppet? None other than black and white stripes. But besides those design details, consider that there's no sign of the puppet anywhere in this game, and yet practically every other animatronic is present in some form, meaning that this game likely exists at a time when the puppet has yet to be created. Remember when he just kind of showed up in FNAF 2, which I should remind you takes place 4 years later than this game? He just kind of came out of nowhere. Well, this
True.
could be the puppet's origin story.
I'm saying true, but I don't play this game yet. But you know, I'm trying to understand the story.
What's in there besides Markiplier's stunning face and buttery voice? A puppet. As we see in FNAF 2, he has a habit of coming out of boxes, and he's the only one who can bend and fold up into a space that small. But there's even more evidence when you look at the timeline. Now, I challenge you to ask yourself one question. What exactly is the child afraid of in this game? Why does he hate this restaurant so much? The easy answer would seem to be the animatronics, but that'd be wrong.
Maybe he's
it's
scared.
important to note that at the time of the cutscene minigames, he's not scared of Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica. When you walk over the pile of plushies in the corner, we see that he considers these characters as his friends. Foxy is kinda in that camp too, but to a slightly lesser degree because his brother has started scaring him with the Foxy mask, hence the head being pulled off. Even the weird psychic friend Fredbear isn't a scary presence for him. So clearly he's not scared of the characters. Is he scared of the people working at the restaurant?
No, he's scared of the other
guys. That's not quite the
guys.
full answer either. Again, watch how he behaves. When trying to escape the worker in the Fredbear outfit, he can't muster the courage to run past the show stage with the yellow suits. He collapses in fear. And when the bullies drag him over to the stage, he's freaking out. Clearly, what he is specifically afraid of in this restaurant is the yellow Springtrap suits, whether in animatronic mode or suit mode, which begs one question: why? Well, the answer lies in psychic friend Fredbear. Look at the dialogue running through the kid's head. Hurry the other way and find someone who will help. You know what happens if he catches you. That line would be easy to write off as this just being a scared kid who believes the ghost stories he's heard from the dead-eyed girl he talks to on the way home. She's creepy. If it wasn't for one thing, this other line. No. Don't you remember what you saw? This kid actually saw something, a crime, something terrible in these restaurants. It would seem to imply that he saw another child get shoved into one of these suits. This would also explain the strange brown pixels sticking out of the yellow body backstage. A tuft of hair, perhaps? All of these details also fit with the character I've been lovingly calling Psychic Friend Fredbear. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. Who are you gonna call? Psychic Friend Fredbear.
So cute.
I mean, seriously, what is this thing? Sometimes he's a bear, sometimes he's referencing it, and sometimes he's a flower?
So cute.
Okay. At first, it seemed like the creepy little toy was nothing but an imaginary friend. That was until the final moments, after the bite, when we see the bear's signature yellow text. But this time, instead of parroting back the kid's feelings like he usually does, he shows that he is clearly in possession of a mind of his own, saying all kinds of creepy things like, "You're broken. We're still your friends. Don't you believe that? And I'm still here. I will put you back together." This isn't just a split personality of the kid or anything. This is a separate entity. This is a spirit. This is someone who knows the danger of getting caught by the people wearing those suits. This is the victim that our FNAF 4 kid saw getting stuffed. This is Golden Freddy. Purple Guy's first victim. And I know you're rushing into the comments now to say that this changes a lot of things and goes against stuff we've been saying for a while. But don't worry, we'll address it. Just get excited. We've pinpointed the identities of our two most mysterious animatronics. This is an awesome revelation from an evidence standpoint, but to be honest, it's a little disappointing from a storytelling standpoint.
Why?
Here's why. We humans all have a proven psychological need to complete things. This need is called, unimaginatively, the completion principle. We want to fill in the blanks in the stuff around us so that the world makes sense and we feel in control. It's the biggest psychological reason why you want to beat a game, or even just an individual level. You know how you just can't stop and save in the middle of a level? You have to play until it's done. This is
why you can't save? It's better to save.
The reason why it's so hard to leave just one slice of cake outside of sheer deliciousness, or leave out the last two pieces of a puzzle. I mean, even just looking at it on the screen, Earl, just put the piece in. Just finish the last two just animate the pieces to move over into the open slots. I beg you. Just finish the last. Thank you. This isn't just you being, OMG, I'm so OCD. It's actually because the brain is wired to respond to knowing when you're done with a task. The brain can now take the mental energy it was using to focus on that activity and use it on something else. But What happens if you don't finish that piece of cake? Or if you walk away from a game right before beating the level? Your brain can't put that activity away because it's still not finished. You literally continue to spend mental energy on it in the background.
Actually explains a lot of stuff.
As long as there are unknowns, your brain can't feel in total control and can't let things go. And whether he knew this when creating the first FNAF game or not, Scott Cawthon has done an amazing and infuriating job of creating a story that looks like it goes one way, but also looks like it might go somewhere
Yeah, this story is kind of confusing, but I'm getting it, I guess.
Talking about FNAF lore, pestering our favorite YouTube theorists for more FNAF lore for weeks, months, watching every video released on everything from top 10 details you missed in the FNAF 4 teaser to top 10 facts about the cupcake. The cupcake! 10 facts about the cupcake. Seriously. Once we're into the lore, our brains literally cannot let the pieces go until there's some kind of resolution, a completed story. But Scott has done such a good job of keeping the game in flux that the pieces never quite feel like they fit in a way that feels satisfying. We never get that moment of ROLAIDS. That spells relief. So we want the pieces of the puzzle to fit together cleanly, and the problem with FNAF is that while there's plenty of evidence for the story to go one way, there's also evidence for it going somewhere else. Try this one on for size. Well, there's a lot of evidence for the kid in FNAF 4 being the puppet, and I'd bet my bottom dollar that that's the solution that Scott intended. From a storytelling standpoint, more pieces actually fit together if the FNAF 4 kid becomes Golden Freddy and not the puppet. This would make our first victim, the one our FNAF 4 kid sees get killed, the puppet, like we've been hypothesizing since FNAF 2. Suddenly, you have a group of 5 kids celebrating a birthday. One kid associated with each animatronic.
Okay, this is weird. It is confusing.
Freddy being the odd man out. And this scenario perfectly mimics the FNAF 3 good ending with a happiest day minigame, where 5 souls from 5 kids, each representing a different animatronic, reunite to celebrate a birthday that never really happened. It actually creates a beautifully bookended story of redemption and forgiveness, a reunion of brothers. And yeah, I know the complaints. Don't get me started about the size of the kids being different. They're the spirits of dead children in an 8-bit minigame, okay? Literalizing the sizes seems to be a bit of a stretch. And it goes even further than that. In the FNAF 2 Give Gifts minigame, the puppet gives life to the dead children, with Golden Freddy as the odd man out who doesn't get a mask and does a ghostly jump scare at the end. That would reflect the 4 boys getting killed in the pizzeria by Purple Guy in response to this incident, while the one, Golden Freddy, dies somewhere else.
Okay, no, this is really confusing now.
You see the IV and pills and flowers, and as a result, that's why the puppet, the first victim, is able to reach those 4 kids' souls and save them, while Golden Freddy has to behave like a ghost. It also gels with the idea that the Take Cake minigame represents the first victim at the first location, and why the puppet is always the jump scare, because he's the kid we've just watched get killed. So a lot of storytelling pieces fit together, but at the end of the day, that leaves us with too many questions about why Golden Freddy is talking to our FNAF 4 kid. A spirit needs to be inhabiting that bear for the story to make sense, and Scott certainly put in plenty of evidence that leads us to believe that the FNAF 4 kid is the puppet. The FNAF 4 kid needs to have seen a tragic, scary incident to make him fear the restaurant, which means he can't have been the first kid to have been killed. In short, the challenge here is that you have a choice. There's more evidence for our FNAF 4 kid becoming the puppet, but the resulting story is more satisfying for him to become Golden Freddy. And either side
which
more, because not all the evidence works in either scenario. And
bless me, but what is now? But the kid is who now? What?
That we get answers, that the scraps of evidence across
this is confusing my brain.
But if and when they do, our brains will just be able to move on and forget about it, making it just another game that we played and is collecting dust on our shelf, or taking up memory space in our Steam account, I guess. In the meantime, good on Scott for making sure FNAF is always on our minds. He didn't do it by giving us endless levels or a whole bunch of stuff to complete. He did it just by making sure the pieces that are there are never quite enough. So GG, Scott.
What? What? Weird, but okay. Ah! Wait, he didn't finish yet.
There's gotta be a code to open this. Bite of 87. It's been my honor to work with all of you. for trying to complete the story and solve the mysteries. I may complain about it, but honestly, I've been having a blast. It's like the Gravity Falls of video games.
Whoa.
It's been my honor to work with all of you on this quest over the last year, and I look forward to trying to continue the quest in the year to come. In fact, since this has been a video many of you have been waiting for a long time, now that it's finally out, this Thursday at 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, I'll be live streaming right here on the Game Theorist channel, answering all the remaining questions you have about the FNAF franchise, touching on things I didn't get to cover in this episode, like the presence of Mangle in FNAF 4, while also looking at some of the theories that you've been submitting to me over the last year. So if you have a question you want answered or a theory you want addressed, between now and Thursday at 4 o'clock p.m. PST, tweet me at MattPatGT with the hashtag GTLive. It just helps me sort things. I'll be reading your burning questions and answering them to the best of my ability. And who knows?
Oh, what is that?
Get a special guest or two in here. So remember, that's right here on the Game Theorist channel, Thursday at 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific time. And to get you ready, welcome back to the Super Amazing End Card Tournament, where I want to know, do you think the FNAF 4 kid is the puppet or Golden Freddy? Simple as that. You've heard the arguments for both sides. Click on one to choose. I'll let you know which side you want.
Bro, I think it's Freddy because,
and it'll all be our way of letting Scott know how we want this story to take shape. But remember, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching.
Meanwhile, what happens?
He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. Who you gonna call? Psychic friend Fredbear.
I like switch keys at the end. Weird. Psychic friend Fred. Psychic friend Fredbear. That's it.
He's here, he's here, he's there, he's everywhere. Who you gonna call? Psychic friend Fredbear.
That wasn't it either. Damn. He's here, he's there. This is great.
What is happening?
He's everywhere. Who you gonna call? Psychic friend Fredbear. That was it.
Sorry, Scott Cawthon.
There are so many videos. Yeah, we're gonna take so much time to watch all of this. But we're gonna get it, don't you worry. Okay, why is it taking...
You're not dreaming. It is possible to put together the pieces of FNAF. It's just a nightmare trying to do it.
Okay, but still, it should be more the story is simple but confusing at the same time.
Theory, where it's another day, another FNAF timeline. Don't worry though, I promise this will be my final stab at putting it all together, at least until FNAF World. Maybe that means I can
FNAF
do
World?
Undertale. You guys want that one, right? Seems like a popular choice. Let me know in the comments. Now let me start this episode by making it very clear. I think the Dream Theory is indeed what Scott intended, where the minigames featuring the crying child from FNAF 4 are real, i.e. there's really a birthday party and he really gets bitten, and the events of each night at Freddy's across the 4 games where a security guard is attacked by robots is taking place in his mind. Like I said last episode, the
everything is a dream.
With Scott's own statements both during the live stream and on Steam sold me 100% on that theory. That said, I, like a lot of you, aren't 100% satisfied with that explanation. Sure, the core gameplay sequences with you as the security guard might all be in the mind of a child, but the underlying story here about a serial killer stalking the halls of the restaurant are just too detailed and too well fleshed out to just be a wash. Here, to me, are the big issues that the Dream Theory doesn't address. 1. The crying child is afraid of those yellow suits for a reason.
Yes.
Remember what you saw. You know what will happen if he catches you. These are lines that his imaginary friend Fredbear repeats over and over.
It's kind of cute. The plushies are adorable in a way.
Than just, oh, this kid saw something scary and misunderstood it in the shadows. 2. The puppet doesn't have a good explanation under Dream Theory. Clearly, the puppet puppet is one of the most important forces in this game, but he doesn't
Yeah.
fit to the dream model cleanly. A lot of other theorists have said it's symbolic of the boy's actions in his own dreams, but later this episode I'll prove that that's not true. If anything, the boy would be the security guard in these dreams, helpless.
Is it the
scared,
security
not the
guard?
puppet. I'm not buying it. 3. Scott confirmed the bulk of my FNAF 2 theory. This would be a strange move for him to go out of his way to say that a chain of events was correct if it was
Bro, no
truly
way.
ridiculous. And finally, number 4.
Okay, it was right.
Under dream theory, what? They're just dreams within dreams? What is this?
No.
Five Nights at Inception? There are
Bro,
plenty of literature,
Jesus.
too, like a young child's dreams being so detailed as to include concepts that even most adults don't know, like sister locations and accurate minimum wage rates. So I combed over everything from the past year of theorizing to come up with the most well-supported, interesting, but also logical timeline of events telling the story of the rise and fall of Freddy Fazbear's. Admittedly, there are still gaps and logical leaps, which
Whoa.
I'll be sure to call out. But right or wrong, this is the flow of events I believe creates the most satisfying narrative to the series. So this one is dedicated to all you guys on Reddit, YouTube, Twitter, and in the comments who've been sending me theories for months. Think of this as my end of the year present for you. Right or wrong, this box is getting opened. The story begins at Fredbear's
Jesus.
Family Diner, the first location as revealed to us by Phone Guy in FNAF 2, and confirmed indirectly by Scott when he approved my FNAF 2 theory. I don't honestly think that there's much to debate here anymore. A child is murdered outside the establishment by a mysterious figure, the Purple Guy, who escapes unnoticed. The victim's restless soul goes on to
But
inhabit a puppet,
why
which would then
kill
haunt
the-
halls of
the kids?
Boom,
Why?
done. No need to dwell on that. In the wake of the tragedy, the owners sell the name of Fredbear and the character's likeness to a larger company that will soon be known as Fazbear Entertainment. From there, the timeline picks up in 1983, as seen on the Crying Child's television set. Since buying the franchise, Fazbear Entertainment has distanced themselves from the last restaurant by redesigning Fredbear into a golden singer with a yellow rabbit partner. They've also rolled out a popular TV series, Fredbear and Friends, as well as a line of
Ooh.
merchandise that includes both plastic toys and plushies of all the
Oh,
characters.
so
But
cute.
perhaps the biggest addition has been a sister location of restaurants where Fredbear's friends are headlining. Freddy, Foxy, Chica, and Bonnie, known as Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And that is our first major revelation, that FNAF 4's Fredbear-themed restaurant and FNAF 1's Freddy Fazbear's Pizza location are open at the same time. We know this thanks to the Phone Guy tapes uncovered in FNAF 3. For those of you who haven't listened to those enough times to have them memorized, I am so jealous of your life. But secondly, let me
Why?
also
Oh,
remember
jeez.
these tapes welcome you to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and then mention a tragic incident at a sister location which results in the yellow spring-lock suits being decommissioned. So let me translate that for you. For all of us unfamiliar with corporate buzzwords, a sister location is defined as another company owned by the same parent company. For example, KFC,
okay.
Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell are all sister companies, with the parent company that
What?
put them all together
Really?
being Yum Brands. Yum is right.
No way.
I'd totally go for some Pizza Hut right now. Pizza Hut
I'll
loves
pass.
to make one of the
I'm
best,
gonna
especially
get
not
hungry
mine.
now.
In this case, FNAF 4's Fredbear's is the sister location to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, with the parent company being Fazbear Entertainment. Corporate structure for the win. What all of this means is that the unfortunate incident that Phone Guy mentions in the FNAF 3 tapes is the crying child getting chomped, which in turn is the inciting event that causes the two recently delivered yellow suits to the FNAF 1 location, the Golden Freddy and Golden Bonnie suit Phone Guy talks about, to be stored away in the location's safe room. At this point in the timeline, still open and hidden in the back of the restaurants. Enter Purple Guy. Shortly after the yellow suits get decommissioned, more FNAF 3 tapes reveal Phone Guy warning employees to not bring customers back to the safe room and to stop moving the yellow Bonnie suits. In the following days, the safe room gets sealed with the request to, quote,
Okay.
not tell family, friends, or insurance representatives. Now, Phone Guy may be unaware of what's happening here,
Okay.
but we're not.
Maybe
This is
one day
June
we'll find
26,
that room.
1983.
Like I'm talking these videos, I'm not talking me playing it. I know one day I'll play it,
Where
but
in the
calm
middle of
down.
the day, an employee dresses in a costume, lures 5 children to the back, kills them, and then stuffs their bodies into the suits. Although he's caught and taken into custody, the fact that all of this takes place in the restaurant's safe room, which remember are invisible to animatronics and security cameras, means that the actual murders aren't on camera. As such, the bodies of the
Okay.
children remain missing, hidden in the suits, and the killer can't be charged due to a lack of evidence. This is all represented in the game by the Foxy Go 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 minigame, where the layout of the game parallels the layout of the FNAF 1 location. Hybrid Cove, to the right, a dining area. And as we see in the Give Gifts, Give Life minigame from FNAF 2, the puppet saves the kids by giving them life inside the animatronic suits. So now at this point in the timeline, we have Freddy,
They're dead
Foxy,
anyway, but
Chica,
okay.
Bonnie, Golden Freddy, and the puppet alive and well. Well, not alive, dead, and then reborn. But you get the idea.
Yeah.
Also, the company closes up the safe rooms to avoid all liability for the murders, and eventually the pizzeria is closed and the old animatronics retired due to the health conditions of the restaurant. As we see once again,
Health
in the newspaper
conditions of the
clippings
rest.
from FNAF 1, the smell of rotting
Sanitation.
bodies inside the machines start stinking out the place. So now let's pause there for a
Jesus.
second. Up to now, everything has been pretty well substantiated with evidence, but before we get too much further, let's take a minute back with the crying child. Remember, one of my biggest concerns about Dream Theory is that the crying child is scared of the yellow suits. But
Yeah,
there's no
see,
real
yeah,
good
I think that
explanation
is, but
why.
because
So
it was
what if the reason
bitten.
the crying child is scared of the yellow suits is because he saw the missing children's
Jesus,
incident? What if
that
he
would be
saw
so
the
creepy.
employee dressed up as a yellow animatronic, luring the children away? Yes, this would mean that the missing children's incident would happen before the yellow suits are retired and before the kid gets bitten, but it's a theory that works for a lot of different reasons. First, he's always at the pizzerias, especially towards the end of the day, so he'd definitely be in a position to see something like this. Second, it explains his irrational fear of the yellow suits because he saw people get taken to the back and never return. Third, the lines of "remember what you saw" and "you know what will happen if he catches you" that psychic friend Fredbear keeps repeating makes a whole lot more sense now. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, look at this line. "These are my friends." If this
Yeah,
were
so
indeed
cute.
true, this line takes on a whole new meaning. I always thought that line was weird. Like, what?
No,
they're
it's
your
not-
imaginary friends?
it's
I
not
suppose,
weird.
But then why would his collection of plushies just be with him when he dies? Why is that such an important detail that Scott chose to include? It wouldn't be, really. But what if they were literally his friends? That he knew the
Oh
kids
my
were
God, no
missing got
way.
stuffed, and the plushies being there in the final scene represented not his plushies, but the spirit of his friend.
No way,
The
oh my
one
God, that's so
possessing the
sad.
suit, being there with him as he dies. Now that gives you a reason to be scared of this restaurant. But we can take it one step further. There's one more issue with the crying child we've yet to cover. What happens to him when he dies at the end of FNAF 4? My original theory put him in the puppet because of design details, but in retrospect, that was wrong. Reddit user 3IE.
Jeez, that what a name.
3IE. Reddit user 3IE did an analysis of the color of the text during the ending sequence. All of the final lines aren't in the yellow used for psychic friend Fredbear, but rather a mysterious new off-white color for the final lines
Okay.
of "You're broken, I will put you back together." It's a subtle detail, but it's very clear that this is an intentional difference that Scott included in the games. So who's
Okay.
speaking? Well, who else but the one figure we know gives life to children dying in events around the Fazbear Entertainment franchise? It's the puppet, promising to right the wrongs of the pizzeria by bringing peace to the crying child's spirit. How does he plan to do this? Well, look at what he says. "We are still your friends." It's not
Aw.
"I am still your friend." The puppet using the plural here means that there would be multiple spirits present in this final scene that consider themselves friends to the crying child, but we also see this. "I am still here. The others are gone now, stuffed," leaving only the one with the ability to transcend the animatronic suits, the puppet. This makes a lot of sense if we again assume the crying child knew the kids who got stuffed during the missing children's incident. And look at the last line the puppet says, "I will put you back together." We've all been assuming his "you" is referring to the crying child. But
Yeah,
consider
I'm
for a minute that the
confused
puppet is
now
instead
again.
playing the pronoun game, to steal a phrase from CinemaSins, and is instead referring to the plural "you." "You 5 are broken, and I will put you 5 together." He's planning on reuniting the spirits of these 5 friends. What makes me so sure? Well, we see it happen. It's the conclusion to the whole story. In FNAF 3's The Happiest Day minigame, we see the crying child's birthday one more time. 5 kids in masks representing the same 5 animatronics, with the birthday boy representing Golden Fredbear. You can even compare the locations. Both are long corridors with 3
Ooh,
tables.
I like the colors, they're really really pretty,
The
though.
balloons are also the same colors: red, green, purple, yellow, and blue. Even the exit is where the Fredbear stage is, an exit that, if used, results in the bad ending because the souls go in peace. It's where the child was chomped. And who's the one?
But if the exit is there,
back together again? The puppet.
well, maybe it's the same place. Maybe they changed the
And here's the best part.
the
How do you
thing.
get to this minigame? Well, by playing through a bunch of others, including the Stage 01 game, which you access by typing the numbers 395.
Bro, but why would someone hide that in a wall?
It's a decimal code for the color of purple guy, only it's backwards. It's Scott's way of showing that the puppet is actively trying to reverse the work of the purple guy and the atrocities committed inside the walls of Fazbear Entertainment pizza places. From here, the rest of the story is surprisingly straightforward. The pizza chain reopens during the summer of 1987 in FNAF 2's bigger location. Fazbear Entertainment rolls out the toy animatronics based on the character models of their merchandise.
I think I know, that's creepy.
Even equips them with facial recognition software as added
Lol, that's kind of funny, don't know why.
There's definitely a pattern being established here, so good on them for taking preventative measures. However, as we all know, it's not enough. As we hear about from the phone guy and see in the Save Them minigame, the purple guy, now the daytime security guard, kills 5 more kids within the walls of this restaurant. When the puppet enlists the help of the possessed Freddy animatronic to save the kids, the purple guy responds, "You can't," because it's true. They're already dead. That said, a case can be made that the puppet successfully gets these 5 souls into animatronics too. Notice that before this, 6 characters were possessed, but now there are 5 new animatronics in this location: Toy Bonnie, Toy Freddy, Toy Chica, Mangle, and Balloon Boy. 5
Some of them are cute, some of them are scary though.
Coincidence, don't you think? Additionally, we hear from Phone Guy that around this time, the toy animatronics inexplicably become more aggressive towards adults, but stay friendly towards kids. The only explanation here is that the 5 new child spirits are given life in the new toy suits by the puppets, but these spirits are angry. The pizzeria is gonna close, but not before one final birthday party, where angry and eager for revenge against their killer, these newly created, possessed toy animatronics lash out at their murderer, the purple guy, who they know as the daytime security guard. Except
daytime
news,
security
purple
worst.
guy is long gone. He did his business and got out. In his place is Jeremy, night security guard moved to the day shift, wrongfully attacked by a vengeful toy animatronic the day of the birthday, losing his frontal lobe and coining the now iconic Bite of 87 moniker in the process. This causes the location to be shut down and the toys to be scrapped. Animatronics from here on out are no longer allowed to walk around, and with Jeremy out of commission, Phone Guy volunteers to take over the position of night guard. Which brings us to our conclusion. The story comes to a final head in 1993. We know it's that year because of the minimum wage rate at the time, as well as the 11/12 date on the check. It doesn't matter if you're working night or day shift, all workers get paid on Fridays, and November 12th,
that's cool.
1993 landed on a Friday. Just fits.
Oh my
Fazbear
god, no
Entertainment
way.
tries to reopen the FNAF 1 location with the original animatronics and Phone Guy as security night guard. With the restaurant reopened one final time, we see this scene, where the puppet is waking up the spirits inside the animatronics one final time. It's time to get their revenge on Purple Guy at last. Phone Guy gets killed, and as we see in the final news article on the wall, no one comes to the restaurant because of its dark, tragic history, with the franchise closing at the end of the year. Sometime after, Purple Guy returns to the building, dismantles the suits, but in doing so, unwittingly unleashes the spirits of the dead children, who attack and kill him, and if they're reunited by the puppet in Happiest Day, finally receive their peace. Well, that is until Fazbear Fright opens and unearths Springtrap, but with all the other animatronics at peace, the puppet must get his hands dirty one final time, returning to burn down the building and finish Purple Guy off for good. Or not. Like any good horror story ends. So what about the Phantom animatronics, Shadow Freddy, and all that? Stay tuned, we're going to talk about those during the live stream immediately after this episode. The video's getting really long at this point, so I want to kind of close it out here. But as we close out here, I have to ask you this. Was that answer satisfying? You see, that's the beauty of the dream theory and the frustration of anything else. There's so much lore, so many puzzle pieces to fit together that in order to account for everything, the story can't get much simpler than that. Dream theory Theory in this instance is so satisfying here because it explains all the messiness of the lore in broad, easy-to-understand strokes.
Yeah, it's still
without you
messy,
needing a
though.
PhD in FNAFology to understand what's going on.
FNAFology, oh my god, no way.
It's possible to fit the details together cleanly, but it's not an easy-to-follow story. It's almost like you need a full-length book to truly put all the pieces together. Okay, I get it.
What is
Scrap
that?
everything I just said. Scott's got a book. Another FNAF video made move.
Oh,
by
that's a
Scott
book?
Coffin announcement. Or not. This is actually a last-minute update. I'm recording this literally hours before the video and live stream tomorrow, but it was just too important to leave out because it looks like Scott agrees with my conclusion. For once, the story is indeed just too crowded to be satisfying. When talking about the new novel, which, true to form, released early, he said the following. Quote, the truth is that after a while, lore becomes so dense that there isn't room for a story anymore.
True.
Sometimes a timeline gets so full that the only way to tell a real story is to have the story set in a different timeline. End quote. So there you have it. Dream Theory for your simple answer, and a 20-minute long timeline for those of you who want something a bit more complete. So which do you find more satisfying? Well, let's talk about all of that live right now.
Ooh, new intro.
I used to do puzzles,
Ooh.
paint by numbers, cross stitch.
Hey, come on, it's not that bad, it's cool. You need to be calm.
Hey guys, and welcome to GT Live, the big game theory, FNAF theory talkback, where we finally put an end to the quadrilogy of quadrilogy of FNAF. As a good way to kind of cap off the
Okay,
year,
this
and
was a
also
live
the game
stream?
that we have been endlessly talking about, doing video after video of, and now we have the story. The Halloween update is out. The book, surprise, surprise, came out yesterday.
Where do you get the
Thanks a lot,
books?
Scott, for that one. True to form, Scott has it in his hands. Is like, let's just put it up there. So today we're talking about the theory that you just saw, the theory from last week, the dream theory. We have our trusty FNAF theorist team ready to come on and discuss all of these things. Some of the unaddressed issues, the shadow animatronics. That's a big one. Are you a dream theorist or are you a timeline theorist, or is there a middle ground?
I think it's not a dream.
We're gonna
I think it's a timeline.
Just so that you guys know, if you're just
Because
tuning into the
it's
stream
too much
now, or if you're
information to be a
listening
dream,
in,
bro.
you can rewind back to the
Like,
beginning
how
of the
is
live
that
stream
one
to
big
either
dream?
rewatch or
Mhm.
catch up on anything that
I
you
know
missed
there are
from
dreams
the
that look
episode
like
proper.
it's like
This
weeks
is a big
of stuff,
experiment. We're
but
trying this as like the first live game theory. I'm really excited about
it's
it.
weird.
So in case you missed the actual episode, you can just rewind in the stream and replay. Also, just so you know that this is going to be archived on the Game Theorist channel. So as soon as this stream is done, it'll be public for you to rewatch in its entirety, episode proper, and then the live stream afterward. Because this is a live stream and because this is the big capper for all us FNAF theorists, I want to make sure that you guys are involved in the chat. So if there are unanswered questions that you want to know, any questions for us, anything that still bothers you,
The
or
one
your own
question
theories,
is, who is
submit
the
them to us
kid,
in
bro?
the chat. We're in the chat.
The kid
Stephanie's
that
here is in the
cries.
chat. Hey, Steph.
Hey guys.
Stephanie's here in the chat, but then also use the hashtag on Twitter, GTLive. It's just easier for us to keep track of because there are literally 55,000 people watching us right now, which is just
What?
mind-blowing.
That was a
if you
lot.
tweet at us, at MattPatGT, hashtag GTLive. That'll help make sure that we have a higher likelihood of seeing your question or your comment, okay?
Yeah, especially if you have big questions, the place to put them is on Twitter, and then other people can also tweet them, and we can see which ones kind of rise to the top first.
Yep, exactly. So there you go, guys. That's it. Rewind if you haven't seen the game theory. Let's introduce some people, though. They have been patiently waiting for me to start this whole thing off. So with that being said, should I unmute them? Let's do that now. Great. So we're unmuting the guys
Who
now.
more people? I don't
There we
know
go.
them.
So with us today, we have Dawko, we have Ryan from 8-Bit Gaming, without other Ryan, unfortunately, and we have Smike here. Hey, guys. Hey. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you for being a part of this again. It's always a pleasure to have you guys on. And just so you know, you guys watching the stream, Ryan's gonna have to leave in about a half hour. So he's not being rude, and he's not sick of FNAF, and you know, he's not sick of hanging out. And he's not, you know, sick of the live stream or anything. He just, you know, people have stuff to do on Saturdays. Clearly I don't, but you know.
Well, on Saturdays I usually clean my house, so lol.
In a little bit, he said he's running a bit late. He's got work because people actually do work, but he'll be joining us too. All right. So, guys, as some of the FNAF theorists online, I have to ask you. We have the dream theory, where everything is a dream. Everything, like in the child's imagination, all these animatronics are created. The toys inspire FNAF 2. You know, his plushies inspire FNAF 1. Purple guy is a shadowy figure that he sees putting on an animatronic suit. So you have that explanation. Or
okay, before we proceed, it's cookie time. Okay, we need to eat something before proceeding. Let's proceed. Let me get my meal foliage in a bit. Wait, it's
you know, diners, sister restaurants, closings and openings, and 11, I believe I counted 11 in total dead children at least. So where do you guys fall? At this point, we have all the information. What do you guys say? Are you a dream theorist? Or are you a timeline theorist? Or
I'm a timeline one. I think timeline is the best one. Because the dream is too confusing for me.
Your opinion first. Anyone? Feel free to take the floor.
Go on, Lewis. You first. Okay. I have selected.
Well, Smite's like, I want to talk now.
I'm gonna let Darko talk.
Okay.
Okay. I'm a mix. I would say obviously FNAF 4 is a nightmare. I'm a bit iffy with Five Nights at Freddy's 2 and also Five Nights at Freddy's 1.
Okay.
I feel like Five Nights at Freddy's 1 seems to be the most dream-like nightmare because you get all the hallucinations, you see all the animatronics in the corridors like glitching all over the place, you know, and it doesn't seem real to me. It seems less real in Five Nights at Freddy's 1 than FNAF 2 to me. But yeah, and then, I'm a bit of a mix.
And then what about FNAF 3 with, you know, do you really think that they have, you know, that 30 years into the future that some company has taken Freddy Fazbear's and the story around it and turned it into an actual horror attraction and that there's a haunted house dedicated to this, like, serial killer pizzeria?
The only part what makes me feel like, okay, that's a bit unrealistic, even though it's a game, is the hallucination part, you know, when Phone Dude says, oh, hey, listen to the gas, like, look out for the gas, it will make you hallucinate, and then you hallucinate.
True. Little known fact, guys, Darko was the voice of Phone Dude. You can tell the similarities, right?
Phone guy's ringing me now.
Oh man! Darko is both Phone Dude and Phone Guy. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Darko's too popular. Okay, so Darko, you're a mix. Yeah. Ryan, what would you say? Where do you fall on this? Because I know you guys also covered the dream theory. I know that you guys have covered, you know, every bit of lore. You talked a little bit about the book as well. What are your thoughts?
I think definitely it's going to be the dream theory. You've got to think about FNAF 4, like, it's the last game in, like, the quadrilogy, and it feels so real compared to the other ones, if you know what I mean. Like, nothing in these minigame sequences seems to be strange or unrealistic. And you kind of contrast it to, like, the other games where it's all, like, 1987 and there's apparently robots that can walk around an establishment, kill people. Things like, I think it's meant to feel unrealistic, and FNAF 4 purged forward the idea that this is the reality, and it's all in this child's mind. You know,
sorry.
By the child's feet.
It will
It seems too ironic that they would then be called the
to wash my hands real quick.
It was a toy with this missing beep, and then the connection, and just these uncanny things like FNAF 3, like Sprinkler. That's insane.
Right.
How could that be real? I think it gets too bizarre.
Okay, so you're fully in the dream camp. You don't think anything is real.
I think it's but I think yeah.
Except for FNAF 4.
That kind of did like this.
You know, the game itself isn't real, but
character.
Yeah.
And the nice also you can find relations to all of the games too. So I think it hinted too much to these games being within the child's mind of some kind.
Okay. Fair enough. Smike, where do you fall? You had an opinion earlier that you wanted to express.
I like this. I think this is the Dogco right and me is like left to right. This is perfect. I just want to say, so
we planned it that way completely, Smike. It's great.
So when I saw your video, Matt, I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, it really influenced my opinion on this a lot.
Achievement unlocked.
I think it makes a lot of sense. But I just want to say, so first of all, I do think it is Dream. I'm more on the Dream side than on the realistic side. And here's, I agree with a lot of what you said, but I also want to add my own sort of opinion on why this is. I mean, first of all, when Scott did the update,
you know, one thing I don't understand is how do you play the mini games? I never tried to play FNAF.
It was seamless, guys.
It's kind of weird for me.
No problems whatsoever. Perfectly smooth.
It's Scott's mind, kind of. But he added these, teasers that really hinted at, I think, sort of unrealistic, dream-like sequence, especially when he said, that there are shadowy figures that can be misinterpreted by the mind of a child.
Yeah.
And we talked about, for me, really, the game breaker was Chica's Peak.
Right.
When we talked about Chica's Peak and St. FNAF 2, there's this personification of Chica losing her beak, just like in the garden and the mind of a child. Of course, the child's very young, very impressionable. But also beyond that, I mean, if you really want to think about it logically, animatronics, the way they're made, the way they are built, they're very, especially if you look at FNAF 4, as you can see on the stage, they're very icky, they're not extremely versatile, they don't move around like that.
Two frames, literally, isn't it? They're up and they're down.
Right.
Exactly, they just go like this. And they have a very binary movement, they go up, down, up, down.
The Smike animatronic.
Yeah. The only time as well when we actually see these guys moving around the establishment, there's a character, human in there. All
right.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really in the child's mind that they become so animated and they go like in your face like that,
Right.
And they really open their mouth, and that's just so far beyond the line of what animatronics, especially back in those days in the 80s, 1983, 1987, in the 1990s.
Those Chuck E. Cheese era, not cutting it, huh?
Maybe FNAF was really inspired by Chuck E. Cheese, but there were not anything more that was like Chuck E. Cheese in these arts. Like, kind of weird. There's no more animatronic stuff in the world.
I just don't believe in ghosts, I guess. So, when we think about it, like, logically, there's just so many supernatural things, and unless you could say maybe, like, in the FNAF World demo, there was the purple guys, you could say there's like some kind of a poltergeist in the game, maybe, but,
Poltergeist.
that's imaginary to me.
Fair enough.
One thing that I kinda think it's weird is there are so many models,
viewpoint justice, which is
and the kids just go to the new models and possess them. It's so weird.
Story through the mind of a child in his dreams because he can't comprehend everything that he's seeing.
Yeah, true. We
stuff
can't
about
understand
serial killers
everything.
And death and murder and stuff like that. Like, that doesn't register to a child. They process death in a very different way. But at the same time, like I say in the video too, like, very clearly there are so many details and little points and sister locations and paychecks and things that you read and color details in the text. And Scott even confirming, my theories and talking about how no one has really unearthed the story of FNAF 4, stuff like that it feels like there's more there. And so, to me, Dream Theory is really satisfying because it's an easy explanation.
It's easy, but doesn't mean it's the right one,
Listen to these phone calls.
I'm the one that believes it's actually
I recite them in my sleep, guys.
not a dream.
But
because if it's that, it's really easy, though. In a dream, anything can happen.
Everything out of a gross timeline theory. That's as simple as you.
It's like those theories that say that Pokemon is a dream, Simpsons is a dream, everything is a dream because they were in coma. It's weird.
X number of animatronics and Foxy's toes evolving from 2 toes to 3 toes to 4 toes. Yes, that is true. In FNAF 1 he had 2, FNAF 3. Yeah, so there's so many different pieces.
What do you think would make in real life is a restaurant based on FNAF? That would be
yes,
cool.
it is kind of being filtered through the mind of a child, and you are getting these bits and pieces of the underlying theory. That's the one that's most satisfying to me.
You want to check where the chat is?
Yeah, actually, Steph, if you can hop onto Twitter and actually create a poll around, so on at MattPatGT, let's create a
Wait, I'm gonna get some gloves because I'm kind of cold. Wait a bit.
To see where you guys stand. You know, are you dream theory? Are you timeline theory? Or are you a mix? So let us know on Twitter, and by the end of the stream, we'll have kind of your definitive answer, right, guys?
So far the anecdotal stuff from the chat. So I've been trying to watch and see where everybody's netting out. It's very divided.
Yeah.
Everyone's like.
Got my gloves already. So
There's
cold.
like a small portion that's mixed in the middle.
But my love is gonna show up, and I'm gonna get
anything but the dream theory. It has to be the dream theory.
whammed up.
And there's a whole other contingent. It's like, no, it's timeline.
Right. Well, okay then. So Ryan, let's toss it back to you.
Is this a full stream? Yeah.
As a pure dream theorist, what is the puppet? That, to me, is the number one complaint I have against saying that this is purely dreams. Because, yes, I can write off the animatronics, yes, I can write off the purple guy, yes, I can write off the toy animatronics and Balloon Boy and Nightmare Balloon Boy and all this stuff. Like, I can get that, and I can get behind that. But the biggest question mark for me is, what is the puppet? Because we see the puppet in multiple forms, right? And I think FNAF 3 is the most interesting, because you see the Phantom puppet, but then you also see a physical incarnation of the puppet
I don't know.
the FNAF 3 Fazbear Fright Restaurant, where he is in physical form.
You know, if you want to talk to him, I don't know.
What is he? Like, is he
Ask
a personification
him, I don't
of the
know.
crying child? Is he some other force? Is he God? And that's another thing that's interesting here is, you know, we know that Scott is a religious figure, that his past games
Scott is a religious figure, bro. What?
Element to this that all of us have been overlooking, and does that play in? I don't know. I'm just tossing that out there for you guys to think about. But Ryan, I'd love to hear, as a pure dream theorist, how are you factoring in the puppet? Because to me, I don't have a clean answer to that.
Well, there's one really interesting thing that I discovered in FNAF 2, which I think almost kind of it determines the differentiation between two minigames. If you look at the minigame where you just see the one establishment and this Freddy Fazbear character, compared to the one in the FNAF 2 establishment, they're two different characters. They're totally different, unique pixel models, which almost means that the situation in the FNAF 2 game where you see the puppet jump scare, it could potentially be real. This guy driving a car too.
In the FNAF, you're talking about the difference between the FNAF 2 Give Gifts, Give Life minigame,
It's the help them save them when you play as Freddy with the microphone.
Versus Give Cake.
To the children.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So it brings in this kind of like this realistic tone where you've got this driver and this different character, not the purple guy. Is it the purple guy excuse me? That's right, it's the pink guy.
Oh god, don't even get me started on Don't get me even started on pink guy.
I think the important message of it is the fact that it's totally different to all the other ones where we're playing as these weird animatronics, and this guy like giving cake to these children, it almost seems like you're inside a that's why it's pixeled and designed to be different from what we see in this help them save them.
Yes.
So that sequence may be real. For all we know.
Okay.
Let's wait then.
Other than that, there is really no explanation truly that defines.
You're mad, aren't you? You got mad.
It's true.
Okay,
great.
You're mad. I can tell you're mad.
Linking with the dreams, that the puppet is the dream creator.
Yeah.
Where the puppet is created.
Let me see.
That's the kid himself created the dreams.
Okay.
And what Phone Guy says as well, he's always thinking in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. People were saying that's the child's mind. He's always thinking.
Wait, I'm seeing.
Okay.
I found that interesting.
Interesting. So, but if so. It's interesting
I'm
because to me,
seeing
if I hear that the puppet is the kid himself, the dream creator, what that makes me think of is he would be more associated with the
it is young one.
Because as the security guard, he's helpless, he's scared, he's terrified of these animatronics, right? We see him crying every night. Like, these are scary dreams to him. These are nightmares. And so the puppet, though, is a very empowered figure in the game.
You're just bored. Why you're bored, sweetie? Tell me.
He's probably the most ferocious
You
and
can talk to
unknown
me.
of
I
all
love
the
you.
characters, right? And we
You're
see him
mine.
in the mini games trying to like bring life to all these dead children and all this stuff. Do you think that, like, I don't know, like, to me, I have a hard time justifying a scared child. Right.
It's strange because like you've got to think about the puppet. The fact that he's also in the game.
Sorry.
Too, like,
Bless me.
Not being animatronic, he's like floating around, seeing through things like that. So he's specifically unique. So maybe that's a metaphor, but it's. I don't know, maybe the minigame when we see that, it might be real rather than a dream. Well, I think it's something pretty far-fetched within that sort of scenario.
Sure.
It's like sort of the equivalent of like the smoke monster in Lost or something. Every horror movie or every supernatural whatever, you know, has like this creature that doesn't really seem to have an explanation or anything like that. Like he just, you know, it just makes you like think, you know, it just with all these wild theories. I think Sean kind of wants that. He doesn't want it to be too clear. And the puppet sort of represents that. I mean, you can see that by how he moves. He's not chained to you know, he has this chain and he is chained, but he somehow manages to free himself and move through the hallways and just fly whatever he wants. It's like he has his own conscience. I don't know, personally I never really liked him. I kind of got a bad eerie feeling about him.
See, the puppet is by far my favorite character. I love the puppet. Yeah.
You know my favorite character?
Yeah, I think the
well, my favorite character.
Like very clearly, he feels like the linchpin
no, I'm thinking.
to all of this. You know, to go back to.
Let me think. What is my favorite character for just for watching from watching the videos? I think the plushies don't count, but the plushies are my favorite. So
to reference the hints that Scott
I think I like the story. I'm not going for the story, but for the character itself. I think Bonnie is really cute. Bonnie looks so adorable.
A puppet and like of a child and his murderer, and so you have the child and the purple guy who the child gets killed at the very beginning of the timeline. He possesses a puppet, and now at the very end of the timeline, you have the puppet setting fire to the Fazbear Fright to kill off the spring trap suit and purple guy inside of it one final time. And so you have this bookend of purple guy kills puppet, or purple guy kills child, child kills purple guy, and that is your 4 games, 1 story right there. That to me feels satisfying. You know, and
Bonnie. I think Bonnie is cute.
Hallucinogenic loops
in all the like in that toy model, it's adorable.
That's what I think, Steph.
Okay, it's the less scary one.
That whole conversation brings up.
I don't know what Mega looks cool too.
Also has gotten a lot of.
No, in terms of story, I don't know much, bro. I think I'm just going from who are the cutest ones. I think Fox, in a way, it's not cute. I like it because it's a fox, but I'm not sure, you know.
As these stories evolve, which I know we're getting to. I just wanted everybody to know in the chat that and on Twitter that I think you guys are getting there.
Yeah.
But that's the question that's coming up is like, okay, it's cool, now it fits together with the dream theory, kind of. There are a few ways to interpret it. Where were the intentions behind it?
Okay, let's ask the question then. Okay, so Shane from Did You Know Gaming and a lot of people in the chat are asking, was this planned from the very beginning? Or,
I don't know, bro. Maybe not, maybe yes.
Scott's like, hey, we need a sequel, and then, like, was the story planned out from FNAF 1? Was it planned out at FNAF 2, or was it just kind of like each game built on itself and tried to kind of like retcon in all the little details as you went along? Any thoughts from you guys?
I think it was planned. I think there was too much to the first game that really, because you know the little Easter egg things, also the calls as well. Some of the things that were said, like he referenced the vibrator, he said no once.
Yep.
And like it was like I think he wasn't sure how the game was going to do, of course, but he wanted the games to do well so that he could finish off doing this story.
Interesting.
He left kind of a few unanswered questions, but it did play much like a game. You know, you did look into the aspects of the lore.
Yep.
I think you'd see it that way, and you could enjoy it just for that. But I think there was always this underlying factor of wanting there to be a story to it as well.
Yep.
You know, the story looks interesting in a way,
You're wrong.
but I can't explain. It's so confusing. Like there's stuff everywhere.
Really? Okay. Smike, okay, what do you have to say?
Yeah, because look, I mean, first of all, I mean, you know, it's okay not to know exactly. It's kind of like, you know, when you go into an interview and you start a sentence, you don't know exactly where the next sentence is going to lead, but you kind of like, you know, sort of, and then it turns out okay, you know.
Mike's had some weird interviews.
I feel like that's kind of how it is here, you know. He starts off the story and he doesn't know exactly where it's going to lead, especially because he's an independent game developer. That's something that's very common.
Yeah.
You can start something, you know, it's something that I think this game also has some similarities to, say, The Binding of Isaac, you know, the crying child and everything. And I mean, that developer.
I'm searching for the books right now. Yeah, I'm going to see if there's books, bro.
And has a lot of really interesting stuff, but he didn't know everything in the beginning.
You know?
He just kind of gradually.
Is FNAF 4's crying child actually Isaac from Binding of Isaac?
No, I don't think so, bro. Oh, there's plushies. Bro, there's stories of this. I didn't know that.
Yes. Scott
Yeah, there's no
Edward
but.
McMillan.
Books.
Done. Boom. Dropping the mic.
Unfortunately, yeah, there's no.
FNAF 4 assault.
I like that.
There's no book on sale.
Like stories where you see that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's. Let me search. I'm trying to understand this more.
But it just feels like he's putting some deep trauma or something that he's trying to desperately.
Books.
reveal,
Okay,
you know, in the
books.
game.
Scott, if you need to lay down on the couch and just talk through things,
okay.
we're here for you. You got the four of us here.
Okay, how many
We're here to
books
support
there
you, my
are?
friend. Okay, so Smike thinks it was just made up. Daco, how about
Oh
you?
my god, there are a lot of them. Oh wait, many of them are just.
Wow.
I was all the five. I was like 5 books. No, it's the name.
You know, stuff like that.
1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 books and 2 novellas. No.
You know what I mean? But even if he didn't, okay, even if he didn't,
11
He
novellas,
didn't know that he was going to make 4 games in 1 year.
5 graphic
Yeah,
books,
he made that work. You know, he did.
graphic novel. I mean.
Ladies, you're both beautiful.
1,
It's
2,
okay.
3,
Smike's
4,
slightly more
5,
beautiful just because
6,
of the hair.
7, 8. 8 more books. 1, 2, 3. More 3 graphic novels.
I think I
1, 2,
side slightly
3.
more with Smike on this one. I think that in
More
FNAF
7
1,
7
an idea
guidebooks.
of a deeper like very clearly there was a
More
deeper
2
story that he had
novels.
specifically for FNAF 1. I think that was definitely the case.
More 3
But one
books.
of the biggest hurdles, and this is
Oh
for you
wait, I
guys,
think
you know,
most of them are
watching,
not even
peek behind
official.
the
I'm
curtain
so
of me
sorry.
reading these
Forgive
theories
me.
For game theory, but one of the things that I've struggled with time and time again with this series is those initial 4 news articles that you see posted on the wall. And very specifically, it says,
You know, I'm not
June
gonna buy
26th,
this nor read
all-
because
you
it's
already
not the
start
type
with,
of
like, a
book I
dedicated
read,
date.
but
But then the
looks
last
good
article
anyway.
says that Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria is set to close at the year end after that tragedy that happened there many years ago. And it's that many years ago where unless you take that one article out of place and use those 3 for earlier, and this one is just like years down the line, it appears, that one doesn't have a clean place in the timeline. The missing children's incident, which is, again, the thing that starts off all of this whole franchise. It is the first, like, piece of hidden lore that we all uncovered. Like, that's the thing that is actually the hardest thing to fit into the timeline. And so that's why I think, with Smike, I think that once he hit FNAF 2 and started including the death minigames and some of that back lore, that's when he's like, hey, I need to start providing some level of answer or some level of deeper conversation here.
But you know, since there are a lot of stuff, maybe the lore is just too much right now. It's just probably really a lot of confusion.
To go as deep into the lore as they ended up doing, right? Like, I think he expected people
because
to
you know
analyze the death
there's a lot
games.
of games, a lot of books.
To try and fit it in with
but is there like
missing children's incident, all of that stuff?
There probably there are different.
Going in to like literally every
different timelines probably. Yeah.
And mapping out dates and 2 toes, 3 toes, 4 toes, colors of animatronics, designs of animatronics. I think that there are certain things there that he didn't account for, which then goes to, you know, parts 3 and part 4, and then finally, you know, what he said with the release of the novel, which I end the theory on, which is all about like, hey, sometimes the story becomes so dense and so loaded down with lore that you can't actually move past that and create an interesting story. And I think that was his way of like saying, hey, this is done. I can't do any more with this because there's just so many pieces that have to fit together at this point that it's just too overburdened. I need to kind of wipe some of these things under the rug to create more interesting stories in this world. Real quick, Ryan.
I think FNAF is a bunch of stories.
Okay.
In one universe, like, I don't know how to explain that.
Oh, great.
You want to bring him in?
Awesome. So we'll call Razbowski. So actually, when you hop off, Ryan, we'll call in Razbowski and slot him in. So yeah, that'll be nice. So Raz, we'll get you in a second. One of the things that I want to ask, and again, for those of you who are just tuning into the stream, now's a good time to refresh everyone. For those of you who are just tuning in, if you want to see the actual episode of Game Theory that started off all this conversation, that's kind of the timeline of events that wraps up the whole franchise, go back to the beginning of the stream, just rewind it in your player. It's still there. You can just watch the first 15 minutes and then hop back to where we are in the stream and catch up with us.
Or anywhere in between.
Or anywhere, yeah. Watch anything. That's the beauty of live streaming and video on demand, guys. Thumbs up. And also, we're still running the poll on Twitter, whether you're a dream theorist, a timeline theorist, or somewhere in the middle. So make sure that you're hitting us up on Twitter, at MattPatGT there.
You know, I'm not talking much because I don't know what to say. I'm just hearing what you're saying.
One final question.
And you know, my brain just goes out there because I'm not, you know, it's just so much talking. I get lost, but since you sent me this to watch, I will watch it. You know how I am. You know.
Before you hop off, final thoughts on these first 4 games, the book, which I know you haven't fully read, but like you've been researching it, things like that. What are your thoughts on the Five Nights at Freddy's first story that we've been presented with through these games? Any closing remarks, any closing thoughts, or should I actually ask you a mean question about like Phantom animatronics? No?
Just kind of like my opinion on how it kind of went from FNAF 1 to 4.
What was that? Yeah, comment on FNAF 1 to 4.
Okay, what's happening?
Great.
What? Oh, it's an ad. Okay.
Apps, and it's killing team productivity. But for the first
time, let's put this out.
Cool. So
cool.
He has been rendered speechless.
I think she said with the. Am I breaking up?
You're a little bit breaking up. It is catching up to you though now. Here we go. There you're back now.
Okay. So you can ask the question again.
No, just any closing remarks or final thoughts that, you know, as we're kind of putting the wrap on this main series, anything that you want to close out with.
I think maybe it's just like the story. I think it's worth looking at from like both different standpoints. I mean, like there is the timeline theory, but you know, I think that the people also who, because the timeline theory has been so prominent throughout this whole thing, the dream theory is now coming. I think it's good to look at it.
I'm still a timeline one. I don't know the dream one. It's just maybe the dream one is just so it's easier for people to think about it and don't think it's too hard, you know.
Yep.
It's very, it's very prominent.
Yeah.
I think that's about it, really. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I've already been kind of thrown out there. I think it's definitely between the two. That's the hot debate now, isn't it? And that's kind of what the game's closing off with.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think, you know, we have spent the last year and a half looking at all of these events as 100% real and as like these are very specific events happening in a timeline, in a real world setting. And so there's been a lot of pushback to the dream theory simply because it doesn't, you know, it washes away a lot of stuff, it doesn't fill in a lot of the details, whatever, it can be made whatever it is. So I think, to your point, keeping an open mind about the dream theory, if you are a timeline theorist, keeping an open mind about the dream theory and looking at it through that lens, and just staying open to it and seeing how does this all fit together under this new context, I think that's a really interesting point and a good thing to kind of look towards as you kind of like decide which way to go. Because it's so easy to have that knee-jerk reaction of, oh, this is different, this is new, I don't believe in this. Because it wastes all my time that I put into my timeline or whatever, and to do so would do a disservice to the franchise if this was indeed what was intended. So I think that's a great point. Cool. So Ryan, thank you so much for joining. You can hop off now, sir, and Jason, we'll figure out how to call in Razbowski. Okay.
And at this point, we can probably check in a little bit on Twitter and chat. And I'm here standing in as the voice of the chat. So I'm looking for questions.
This is Stephanie, by the way.
Hey, if there are a bunch of questions that I see over and over again, I'm trying to pull those out. And
Did they just say her name now?
Is like about 60.
They could say it before.
So far, and it's 53% dream and 47% timeline.
Wow.
So it's a pretty close call.
It is. It's a close match. That's pretty intense. It's pretty evenly divided, guys. It's fascinating. What do you need, sir? What? I mean, can you bring up Razbowski? No. I mean, like, can you? Because what is his Skype? I'm not. Or.
You want to grab him?
He should be.
Is he in there?
Accessible to you.
Oh, he's accessible to me. Oh,
accessible.
There we go. Okay, let's bring in Raz. Add people. Here we go. He's not accessible to me.
Aww.
So.
He's in the chat.
He's in the chat?
I mean, I put him in the chat, the contact of Raz.
Okay, that's cool. Well, let's see. Here. So while that's going on, real quick, one of the things that I want you guys to think about, that I want to throw out to the chat here too, or to the guys thinking, because when we bring in Razbowski, we're getting into the nitty gritty here. Two of the questions that have bothered me, and that I think a lot of people complain about for the series, is the Phantom animatronics. Why? What are those things? Why are those specific like four things? The Phantom Puppet, the Phantom Freddy, Phantom Mangle, Phantom Foxy, but it's version 2 of Foxy from FNAF 2 and not a toy animatronic.
Okay, I guess these. Okay, who are the Phantom ones? I forgot already.
The Halloween update. So Scott, for Halloween, updated things with Nightmare Mangle, Nightmare Balloon Boy, and Nightmare Puppet, Nightmare Marionette. It's cute. It's cute. Good name, guys. And what he said, this is actually confirmed by Scott. Nightmare Balloon Boy is
Nightmare Balloon Boy
and Nightmare Marionette.
I think I still didn't see the Nightmare.
That is the question. That is the question. So, what? I mean, go ahead.
I just wanted to say.
Or are those from the FNAF 4 TV?
The whole thing of can he do the story and not have it all planned out in advance? Can I mention Breaking Bad season 5, or is that like?
You can. I am a fan of Breaking Bad season 5, so I'm curious where you're going with this.
I mean, it's been a while, so I guess you can spoil it, right? Or
I think you'll be hashtag spoiler alert if you have not seen season 5 of Breaking Bad.
I'm just gonna say it in a general way. There was one element of Breaking Bad season 5 which was introduced in a flashback in the beginning of season 5, which then at the end of season 5 was a major element in how the finale turned out. And they actually admitted, in I remember I saw a behind the scenes or something, and they admitted that they had no idea how it was gonna be used in the finale and how it was gonna play into that. And they had to sort of figure that out.
I don't know why, but their mic quality is not really good, so there's stuff I'm not picking up and there others I am, or maybe it's just me.
So not too many spoilers here, guys, but the big automatic rifle. Okay, cool.
Rifle, yeah, that's their use at some point, yeah. And that's something that I saw happens pretty often in a lot of stories, and I know Bioshock Infinite had that happen where they figured out a lot of things towards the end.
Yep.
And so it's even things like Game of Thrones, for example.
Game of Thrones, lol.
Writing works sometimes have these very uncertain.
Yeah.
And so I think it's natural. It doesn't have to be Yeah.
Right.
The other is.
Well, and it is. It's one of those things that if you plan your story to have a bunch of cliffhangers or things right when you start, and then it doesn't pick up or it doesn't go anywhere, then it's like, well, no one gets to know the story. Like, you don't want to go in with this like huge back lore because there's that expectation of the audience has to be invested in this thing in order to get anything out of it. And so that's not necessarily like a bad thing building along the way. It's just kind of like a necessary thing where like
I don't think it's a bad thing.
Of a backstory, and then you flesh it out if it does indeed pick up, in which case FNAF it did. So I think that's interesting. And to the point of the nightmares, and Dawko, I want to hear your opinions on this. For me, one of the things that bothers me, so Scott, like I said earlier, Scott confirmed that Nightmare Balloon Boy in the Halloween update is indeed
Halloween update. Okay, that's new. Okay.
Mangle are not. That confuses me.
Okay, where is the Halloween update? Is it something that come out? Or...
in really any theory, because if
I
you're
still
a
don't
dream
know.
theorist, you know, we see the Balloon Boy, and that translates to Balloon Boy in the FNAF 2 game. We see Mangle in his house, the crying child's house, and that translates to Mangle in the FNAF 2 game. You don't see Puppet, which, okay, that's good, because Puppet is this weird kind of esoteric character, this more spirit-like entity. And so,
well, that's kind of weird to say, but yeah, I can understand it.
Canon, but Balloon Boy is. Like, I feel like the two of them should be canon together, or alternatively, none of them are canon, which is equally just as fine, right? Like, you know, you have all three of those guys are specifically from FNAF 2's location. And so if they're not canon, that's fine. Like, it's easy to kind of either write them all off or write those two as canon and Night Marionette as not. So that to me is one of the fundamental challenges with that. Dawko, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, if Nightmare Mangle was canon, I would be cheering really badly because
okay, some of them are canon and others not. Okay, he's getting more confused to me.
Girls' room, and you see Mangle there, like completely destroyed, you know, and it would make sense to see that like mangled animatronic as a nightmare.
Right.
So. And in 5 Nights at Freddy's Full Minigame, we don't see the puppet at all. So if the puppet isn't canon, which is, it makes sense because the boy doesn't see him in the FNAF 4 minigame. So I don't get it why Mangle isn't canon.
Yeah.
You know, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, Raz, real quick, let's welcome Razbowski to the stream. Hey, Raz.
Hey,
guys.
Thanks.
How's everyone doing?
Doing great, sir. Thanks for joining in.
Hey, no problem. I thought I needed a little bit of fitness. Just sitting here at my computer all day, I needed a nice quick sprint home. So a half an hour walk turned into a 10-minute run.
Oh my God.
So thank you for the jog.
No, there you go. Well, I think that's here on GT Live, the stream, we do the clap and a half. So there you go, clap and a half. Boom, there it is. So thanks, guys. So no, I'm so glad that you were able to make it. Razbowski, since you just kind of ran in, chances are you probably haven't seen my latest theory. So just as a shameless plug to remind people how this stream is working, if you missed the game theory, like Razbowski, you can rewind to the very beginning of the stream, and there it is in the 17th.
Yeah, I don't know why they put the full stream on this playlist, but I'm gonna watch it. We still are like almost halfway of this.
We're gonna address the book.
So yeah.
You know, and predictions, excitement, you know, questions about the movie and FNAF world. So real quick, Raz, I want to get your opinion. Everyone else has kind of stated their case on this. Are you a dream theorist? Are you a timeline theorist? Or are you somewhere in the middle? What is your opinion here of, you know, where all this falls?
Well, when the timeline was first presented, I'm a man of science. I don't believe in fairy tales. I don't believe in anything like that. So I like good hard evidence. And
sorry.
Like a sciencey background. They study chemistry and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
Severely by doing.
Yeah, chemists.
Yeah, chemistry.
I'm on the dream camp. I honestly didn't think, but watching your most recent, well not the most recent now, but the Dream Theory video, it clicked so many things into place. I didn't want to believe it initially. When Scott hinted all the clues in the last live stream that we did together, it looked like it was leaning towards a Dream Theory, and as you said in the video, it seemed like a bit of an easy solution. Yeah. As you said, it's a bit of a gimme, it's a bit of an OP, I think you referred to it as.
Sorry for not talking much, I'm really sorry.
Completely fine, because obviously it's a dream.
I'm trying to hear what you're saying, but sometimes it's confusing to me. No, I don't think it's a dream. I think it's a time one. I'm always saying this, but you know, it's okay if other people have other ideas.
Obviously, Foxy being out of order doesn't have a head in the bedroom in FNAF 4, so it's out of order in the game. Makes sense. That's quite a nice tie-in, but also the brother as well. The jump scare, as you said, he pops out from behind the telly or out from the bed. It's a very, very similar jump scare as to both.
Jump scare. Ooh, sorry.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2 as well. The way he leaps out from the darkness in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, that fits in quite nicely. And then the toy animatronics as well in FNAF 4. Chica's broken beak, symmetry in FNAF 2, along with Mangle as well. Like, a lot of people were trying for a while to explain why Mangle was in the bedroom in FNAF 4, why Mangle had two heads, why Mangle was broken up.
Yeah, why is Mangle has two heads? Jesus.
You're talking about the timeline. You wouldn't get to touch Chuck E. Cheese's animatronics.
Touch Chuck E. Cheese's and okay, that's a weird Chuck E. Cheese. You know, it looks like something weird, that name.
And it just wouldn't happen. So there's no way that the company would be willing to let something as potentially harmful be touched. And I really, really want to believe a timeline. Like, I've been looking at it from every angle, and I've obviously not seen the most recent video, but I really wanted to believe the timeline. But really, I can't find too many faults. I did catch the very start of the.
Great!
Talking about.
Awesome.
You talked about the puppet.
Yes.
How the puppet didn't fit in with it, and that doesn't fit in with the It's just something. There's something.
It doesn't.
In there. There's something that says.
Whoa.
And I don't know. Don't know what it is.
Did you tune into the stream while we were running?
Well, yeah, while running, he was jogging to my sultry voice, obviously, like.
Exactly. It was listening to the theory.
Just spurring me.
It was thrusting you forward. It was exciting you onward. No, absolutely. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for getting your work out to get here on time. And join us. It's really awesome to have you. So one of the things that I was gonna bring up now is obviously the book, right? So
yeah,
the book is kind of the big question mark now.
Yeah, I need to know what the book says.
Last week, it's out yesterday. It was supposed to be out in a couple days here. Everyone thought,
okay, did I read already the full book? Is the book that big?
What is it? Oh, it's a novel. That's interesting.
Okay, it's a novel.
That's unexpected. Especially in the wake of everyone expecting FNAF World, everyone expecting the FNAF movie. Out of nowhere comes this book. What are your guys' thoughts? What do you know about this book? Do you have
no, please tell me you. I don't have the book. I'm here to learn stuff.
And Raz, what do you think?
I'm on chapter 5 currently. I'm really enjoying it, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm not a massive reader. Like the last book I read was 50 Shades of Grey, purely for educational.
Sure. You keep telling us that, Raz. Sure. Okay.
My girlfriend was reading it at the time, and I thought, why not?
Okay.
What is there no video resume having a resume about the
not much.
The book?
Both from what I've read so far, it's like a retelling of the story. And if you go into it with that mind, like Scott said on his Steam posts, then you'll thoroughly enjoy it from what I've seen. It's the same sort of idea, the same sort of mythos, the same principles behind things, but obviously it's reimagined for a book.
Yep.
Like, the lore in a game isn't going to match entirely up with a film or a book. It's just not going to happen.
Yep.
Without like full-on hours and hours of dialogue.
Yep.
But I'm thoroughly enjoying it from the 5 chapters that I've read so far.
Cool. So Daco, I know that you have read the whole thing.
Okay,
you know,
someone
you recently
read.
did a video about this, kind of covering some of the major points. Without getting too much into it, you know, Scott has made it very clear on Steam that this is taking place in an alternate timeline, alternate universe. You know, it's not
timelines.
adhering to the story.
It's not a dream.
Or at least it's adhering to the story, but not all
I think
the details.
maybe they changed everything last hour.
That,
I hope not, bro.
Five Nights at Freddy's in the games. So, to you, what does the book show us, or like what does it kind of like elucidate about the story of the games, and what doesn't it do? What does it deviate from? I'm really curious to see, like, what is this actually something that will help theorists moving forward, you know, piecing more of this puzzle together, or is this something that's just kind of like a side story, more like fan fiction, or just like more immersive
fan fiction? Yeah, are the books
that's gonna help those people who are
canon
really
or
looking for the
no?
answers of FNAF proper?
Am I allowed to say spoilers?
You as much as you can, keep it as like top line as possible. You know, like don't reveal too much, but like any general themes or thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. So apart from the ending, a lot of the book actually, to me, and I don't know, you got to chapter 5, Raz. When you read the book, some of the stuff matches with what we've been talking about. Like, oh, okay, so that's how it works.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the parts which isn't spoilery at all, I'm just going to say something what's not spoilery, is that in the parts and services room in the book, there's these costumes. Which are temporary costumes, and they are like different coloured costumes which we've never seen before, which we wouldn't see in the game.
Yeah.
And that solves what Scott was talking about in the game about the temporary costumes being used.
Okay.
So I feel like in the book he has added a lot of things for us to feel like, okay, that's been solved. You know, let's theorise about that.
Sure.
But the ending of the book
yes.
is weird with the game. It doesn't
You know, it could give spoilers. I would not mind it at all, but okay.
But it doesn't match.
I will not read the book anyway.
It kind of does, but not how we want it to be.
Okay. And do we know what location this book takes place in? Like which of the FNAF locations it does?
Yeah. The book.
I think you can say that, and that's not spoilery. That's just more setting.
The cover of the book is the FNAF 1 characters, so
sure.
It's at the FNAF 1 location.
Okay.
Because he talks about Pirate Cove, doesn't he, Raz? That Pirate Cove's there. None of the other places have Pirate Cove with the purple curtains and stuff. It also talks a bit about Fredbear's Family Diner, which was really cool.
Yep.
Like the main character goes back to Fredbear's Family Diner.
So we do go back all the way to the beginning of the timeline then with
yeah, I guess.
Okay, that's cool.
There are actually dates. He mentions dates about when it was built. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. What date? I'm guessing it's somewhere in the like mid to late 70s.
No.
Oh, I suck.
They actually built the Fredbear's Family Diner in 1982.
Oh, 80. Okay.
Yeah.
I was more close because and for you guys watching the stream,
yeah,
this episode of Game
it's not even it was a stream. No, it's a video, but I'm watching it.
Because animatronics actually date back to Walt Disney.
The first version of the script was talking about like Walt Disney and like the opening of Disneyland and stuff.
It was crazy. It was also going to be like Dateline Unsolved Mysteries Presents style, and then I'm like, what am I doing? What a stupid idea this was. And so I'm like, rewrite the whole thing. This I kid you not, the episode that we aired today has been rewritten no less than 4 times. Because new information, me suddenly having a realization and adding in stuff, changing the style that it's being presented, all that. But one of the things that I wanted to bring up was, so Chuck E. Cheese, which was also founded by the founder of Atari, funny enough.
I heard about that. It's true.
The founder of Chuck E. Cheese, which is... Yeah, exactly, Nolan Bushnell. It was all kind of a means of getting kids to stay in arcades longer. That's why Chuck E. Cheese right? And that started in 1977. And so I'm like, oh, around that time, that's when you have Freddy Fazbear's or Fredbear Family Diner. But anyway, so we get so Fredbear starts in 1982, according to the book.
Yeah, I've got another timeline date as well. The murders are right. It happens in June 26th, isn't it?
Yep.
I've got a year now from the book. It's 1985.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And then, like the book, like you say, the group of people, the teenagers who saw the incident, go back to the location 10 years after.
Yep.
And that's 1995.
Yep.
They all meet together. So 10 years before, that's obviously 1985.
Which again lines up with kind of the established timeline here, where we have Fredbear Diner, we have 1983, where kind of that weird Fredbear incident with the chomp happens. But then we say, before around that time, that's when the FNAF 1 missing children's incident happens. Closes down the restaurant. 1987, we have the FNAF 2 restaurant. Yeah. So that does fit into the established timeline that we've been concocting. Oh, so it's maybe there's more than just a
my brain is like zooming in and out. There's stuff that I'm hearing, and there's stuff I just go out and forget everything they're saying, and then I come back. It's so weird. I'm so sorry.
They said like I got confused for a little while because I left too many comments and said you should take a little break. So
what?
Really? That's not from our end. Yeah, that is not us. So maybe just maybe it's just YouTube being like, hey, stop spamming. Smike, stop spamming, man. God.
You're the one with all those Star Wars spoilers, aren't you?
That's such a classic.
Spoilers. I'm kind of, if it's not something I'm gonna watch or read, it's okay getting spoilers.
Like the father of the main
In my opinion, of
he
course.
makes these little animatronic toys when she was little. You have all these different designs that it shows in the beginning, which a lot of them didn't make it into the restaurant.
Yep.
But you can see the point of these designs was to keep her, I forgot her name, Charlie, was to keep Charlie company when she was sleeping. Because her mother, I mean, this is a slice, it's revealed in the very beginning. But anyway, so she you know, she's lonely, let's say, I don't know.
Sure.
She's a little girl, and her father is working a lot. So he made these animatronic robots to watch over her. And that was the original design, that was the original reason why they existed, actually.
Interesting. And
Interesting.
So one of the big reveals this week that
I just
happened
repeated
was
what you said. I'm
the name
sorry.
of the book, which is The Silver Eyes, which to me is very strange, and it made me want to go back. And one of the things that like I've kind of kept track of but never really included in a theory is when are there little pinpricks of light in their eyeballs and when aren't there, you know, because that's kind of a recurring element of the different animatronics too. Well, for you guys who are familiar with the book and have read some of it, what is the significance of the silver eyes?
Silver eyes?
Is it? I don't know.
It's you could sort of put it together by chapter 4. It hints in chapter 3,
sure.
And it tells you pretty much in chapter 4 what it means.
Okay. Well, if it's spoilery, then I don't want to spoil. Like, how about I ask you this then? Does it add a lot to the lore? Is there like is it a big, significant?
Does it add to the lore? That's actually a good question.
Online, you'll see silver eyes.
Okay.
It's obvious.
Okay.
Once you look through, like in the actual screenshots of the games, you'll see silver eyes in the thing that's intended to.
Okay.
But I don't know whether we're on the same plot here though, Raz, because I know the exact reason for the silver eyes, but you've only got to chapter 4 and 5.
Okay.
Basically, you know, Raz, like the girl's scared of that twitchy endoskeleton in the garage. There's an endoskeleton in his father's garage that's always twitchy and horrible.
Okay.
She's scared of it.
She thinks it moves.
Yeah, that's the actual endoskeleton of Foxy.
Endoskeleton of Foxy, okay.
Yeah, we're on the same page, Jack.
Okay, so
Wait.
the silver eyes are the Foxy's endoskeleton, and he's twitchy, which is why he's out of order.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's weird.
That's not spoilery. That like I think.
I think that's fair. I think that's pretty
Yeah, we know that there's endoskeletons walking around. Like that's just a common part of the lore. That's fine. Okay, so it really doesn't have like a big reveal. I mean, maybe there's a deeper significance to Foxy and why Foxy is his favorite. Interesting. Is there? Again, does the book reveal anything about like Foxy being my favorite, and so like it may point to a Daco is flipping out right now.
There's a point in the novel, right, where Charlie has like a dream, or is it a dream she thinks, where she goes outside a room and she sees Foxy down the stairs, staring.
Okay, there are dreams on the book, so this confirms that the timeline isn't a dream, I guess. Or maybe I'm hearing this all wrong, I'm sorry.
It's weird, but he starts caressing him and he calms down.
Okay.
It's a weird moment.
All right.
Does that make sense? Like, he's got a personal feeling with Foxy.
Interesting. So what it sounds like then is Charlie, whoever this character is, again, like not to get too deep into things, but you know, whoever this Charlie is, it sounds like maybe the dad is the phone guy to some extent, because if Foxy was the favorite and they have this personal connection with Foxy, I don't know. So, well, let's leave it there. I don't want to get too involved with it. So the ending deviates, but there are kind of these little like hints and allusions and references to the lore that we know and love and have overthought to death to what we see in the games. Okay, so that's good to know. Steph, any questions from the chat that we want to know?
So one question is, so for those of you who have read the whole book or part of the book, after having read it, when do you think Scott started writing it? Do you think he started writing it or does it say? Maybe it says in the book when he started conceptualizing.
Yeah.
Well, I do know one of his Steam posts.
Well, maybe it was after the games, I guess.
So it would have been right after
So that would put it right after FNAF 2,
right?
3.
FNAF 2 before FNAF 3.
Yeah, between FNAF 2 and 3.
Okay.
Right, sorry.
Bounce Mike.
So stop making so many comments, Mike. Stop smilking the comments. So what do you think? Like, so do you think that this was and do you know who sent that, or was that just kind of a general question from the comments?
The chat is going so fast. It's going so fast.
Okay. I didn't know if we wanted to call out someone specifically.
I wish I could, but it's sort of, it was a while.
That's fine. So the question that I have is, do you think that this is the lore that Scott intended, and you know, maybe the latter games deviated in some way or threw off kind of that plan? You know, I'd be curious, looking at just FNAF 1 and FNAF 2 and then reading the book, does that gel into one story that does kind of have a seamless flow? No, Daco says no.
The book doesn't mention anything about FNAF 2 or the toy animatronics.
Okay. Interesting.
What? Is that spoilery?
That's not spoilery.
Well, I'm not saying it's spoilery. It's just why it's their fault that it did. I mean, she might make a second book. You know, it might make a second book where he talks.
Yes, he did say that on a Steam post. Yeah.
Wait, what? Sorry, you're all talking about what? What did he say on the Steam post?
They should make a second book, possibly.
Oh, okay. See, for me, what I think, and this was just my theory, my lame theory, which was, you know, the FNAF games have such this elaborate lore and like all these details and this and that, and we know that the movie is supposed to come out in 2016, or the movie is coming out in the near future.
The movie just came out like in 2020, bro. Jesus.
It's going to exist in the world of FNAF and Five Nights at Freddy's, but it's not going to exist but it's not telling the Five Nights at Freddy's story like from the game. And so for me, when he first announced the book, I thought it was a weird extension. I'm like, that's unexpected. I didn't see that coming. I was looking forward to FNAF World, but now here's this thing. But one thing that I found, or one thing that I thought is, maybe this book is starting to set up the storyline that will see
maybe a new storyline,
right, where it's introducing characters, names, personalities that are moving us away from just the animatronic focus, purple guy, phone guy, whatever, and here are real people who now, when the FNAF movie comes out, that they are able to continue this story that isn't burdened by, Easter eggs, newspaper articles, Atari mini games, whatever, and it can kind of craft its own story that is more accessible to more members of the audience. That was my theory. You guys who are in the process of reading it, do you think that, is there any validity to that? Do you think that's the direction?
Yeah, like, 100%.
100%, and I think Russ is going to agree with this as well. When you read the book, I was imagining it as a film,
yeah,
and it worked. Yeah. It worked really, really well.
Really?
Yeah. The way it's written and described is fantastic. I think Scott said in his post that was it Kira? She worked on the dialogue and he worked on the descriptions inside the restaurant, and you can clearly see that aspect of it. I think he was the one that was in it. She cleaned the sort of the stuff up.
Yep.
But as Doco said, when you are reading it, you imagine it, and it's a smooth transition. If you were to read.
Okay, so the book is well written.
You don't have to know anything about the game. If you picked it up, you can. If that made
I'm still not gonna read it, but that is good. The fact that it's well written.
Guy and Fred Bear Fry, yeah, okay.
That's what the filmmakers have got to do as well. It's not just FNAF fans who are going to watch the film. It's people who have never heard of Five Nights at Freddy's before.
Yeah. So then another question then is the movie just going to be a direct-to-film translation of the book? Or
wait, are the books based on the no movies are based on the book or the games?
The book was better, but the games were the best. Oh man, Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie, the game, the movie.
Yeah. Sorry, Raz.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I wouldn't be surprised if the book went straight from the page to the silver screen, as they say. Like, it would work.
Yeah.
And I'd be fine with that.
Cool.
And I think like the book it makes sense because like the writers on the script for the Hollywood movie, they might want some material where they can work off.
Yep.
And the book provides this very, it's like pages and words where it's easier for them, especially because a video game is less, it's more rare, that you see movies based off games, I guess. And
especially good movies based off games.
Yeah, you see more films based on books.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's rare that, anyway, it's a big subject. But, what was I saying? Yeah, so the movie, I think it's going to be, it seems like the book, from what I see, the movie might have some kind of, it might be based off that in some way because it has so much environment to it. Not just the restaurant, not just this, not just that. It has names. It says, her name is Charlie and her best friend was named Michael, and he died in that school. And so in the movie, to adapt to a more general audience, it makes sense to personify.
I'm vibing with music now.
Not just a restaurant that has no name.
Yeah, no, it makes total. Yeah, you can't create a movie and the characters are named Phone Guy and Purple Guy, right? And Crying Child, like, hey, Crying Child, how are you doing today? Oh, I'm doing well, Purple Guy. And yourself? Oh, excellent day today. Fantastic. Oh, there's the Springlock animatronic. So cool. Okay, so that's a little bit about.
Well, imagine if that guy died inside of the suite.
What do you think about what's been
Is the suite possessed by the guy that died?
I really wanted to see what your
are still his bloody thingies inside?
Because that's another.
That's kind of something you have to think about in a way.
Very soon. And we've already gotten teaser trailer, or not teaser, well, we got the teaser trailer, but then we've also gotten like teasers on the website where Mangle is like hanging himself, things like that.
Mangle is what?
Fit in? Does it fit in? Are you excited about it? I just
want
to get your general impressions from you guys. Any thoughts?
I'm excited for it, but from what it seems, it's a completely separate entity, because obviously you're controlling, you are Chica now, you are Toy Chica, you are Fredbear, you're Nightmare, you're all these different characters, so you're playing as them, so it's almost like they are cartoon characters. They're not a child's soul, a murdered child's soul stuffed inside a suit.
Yeah.
They're as normal creatures in a thing. Say an example, very loosely based, where you've got Pokemon, but then you've got the mystery dungeon games.
Yep.
So then you're controlling the Pokemon in the Mystery Dungeon games now. So it's completely different. You're interacting as Toy Chica with
Toy Chica.
or they have their whole different universe of conversations together. I don't think it's going to give us any more lore. I think just like the book, it's going to follow maybe similar things, but be a separate thing.
Smike, I saw you raising your Sharpie marker. I'm assuming that means you have something to say.
Yeah. So, I just want to say about FNAF World, I just want to say that for that game, when it comes out, it makes me think in some ways of Smash Brothers. You know, where they take
Smash Brothers.
All the best characters and throw them together.
Exactly, and they put all these recognizable characters in one place, and these characters, they don't have the same role as they had in their original game.
Yeah.
And it kind of breaks the lore in a way, but it's all like a cluster of all this stuff.
Yep.
And it just becomes like a fun party.
Yeah. Then I guess the question is, if we do think, and it seems like we're probably in agreement about this, where, you know, the FNAF story proper is over, we've got the books, we've got the movie coming out to kind of continue that darker storyline. One, is it going to be dark? And then two, second question is, do you think that, like, if you move away from murdered children and stuff like that, is there...
Yeah, why did they... I still don't know why they murdered the children. Like, poor guys, Jesus.
Do you think that, like, you know, this game can catch fire again?
Are you talking about FNAF World?
Yeah, FNAF World.
Yeah. I mean, look, we'll see. I mean, if this works out the way Scott intends it to, I have no doubt we'll see kids that are going to be all like, you know, this FNAF World game, did you know there was a horror game that this was based off? Like, you know, that today I learned on that. Today I learned there's a horror game that FNAF was based on. So cool. Childhood ruined.
I think it's still got life. It all depends on your why you joined FNAF. Did you join it for the horror element or did you join it for the storyline? Because it's still going to have the story elements. Because it's still going to be, you're still going to have the enemies. So I'm sure Purple Man's going to be in some form in there. I think I heard.
Yeah, the Purple Man. The Purple Man, it was the guy that worked on it, right?
Version that Scott put up on Halloween. So he's going to have that, and he's going to add in little jokes like that. So there's going to be something.
Jokes, well, okay, kind of weird.
If you like Final Fantasy sort of games like that, you're going to enjoy it. I'm sure he's going to add in some sort of arcs back to the series, and it does seem to have some sort of dark element involved. And I think he's got some tricks up his sleeve. You know what he's like with hype, generating buzz. He's a one-man marketing machine,
right?
And he's got something big to reveal still. I think a dark element to it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these teasers, what he's been.
Oh, yeah. Hashtag Smike is cool.
Hashtag, whoa.
Hashtag smilking the comments.
Smilking the comments.
He had a Sharpie out, right? And everybody's like, working away. Your Smike's got some cool, important points to the FNAF lore.
If Smike can't, hey, you know what? If Smike can't milk the comments, he will get it onto the stream in some way. Get it up there. Get it up there.
Smike, are you the fake Scott Cawthon that's all over the comments? We're just getting so many screenshots of fake Scott Cawthon comments.
There's Scott Cawthon impersonators.
There's one Scott Cawthon impersonator in particular who only leaves comments in rhyming couplets.
What?
That is clever. Big brother getting old at the funeral. Dad's hands were cold. Unless these are just poetic statements from the book, maybe, you know, I don't know if they're.
Maybe.
Wait, yeah, Wonderland at Time FNAF on Twitter has been tweeting at us all these screen caps in the FNAF 4 minigame. Why do we see plush golden Fredbear in the drain? Right, in the sewer, as we know.
We're digging pretty deep.
Right, so that's why, you know, there's always got to be those Scott Cawthon impersonators. Was something happening on the website, Steph? I saw a couple people call out websites.
No, that was also fake.
Oh yeah, the website had some clues.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, look at the website.
Look at the website. Yeah.
The website that was.
That's not an easy one to confirm, guys.
There was a website for FNAF. I guess they were talking about that on some videos before this.
Improve it. You know, it's like what? It's just I get these so often too. Anyway.
I like the theories that Dawko is Smike, or no, that Dawko is Smike, that Dawko is Scott Cawthon because of your connections with him. Or like, oh yeah, I'm talking to Scott Cawthon right now. He's emailing me right now, guys. Update my website. Update my website. It's you. It's been you the whole time. Confess. Confess. So what do you have planned for us next, Scott Cawthon, aka Dawko?
The website is just updated. Or could if it actually did, though, right now?
Right, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's totally confirmed. Hashtag confirmed. Hey, real quick, so where are we on the poll, Steph?
So on the poll, we're holding strong. It's over 10,000 votes at this point, and it's still 47 to 53 Dream Theory.
So Dream Theory is still winning out.
I think it's Timeline. Timeline, sorry.
Who are like, well, I'm kind of mixed, and like maybe the mini games are real, and then maybe the actual game is like the dream part. But I think a lot of that's been addressed at this point. I think it's been talked about. The big questions that are starting to come through are more like, hey, at the end of this like the year of FNAF, what was everybody's favorite FNAF? What would you have done differently? How would you have ended it? Or
that's interesting.
Something like that. So we're getting a lot of those in. If you guys want to pass those around.
Okay, yeah. So I'm curious about that. So because we asked about favorite animatronics last time. What's your animatronic spirit animal? What's your favorite game? All that. I am curious though, for the story, what is your Dream Theory aside, throw Dream Theory out the window. What is your ideal storyline for these games? Like, what is the most interesting part of it to you? What is the story that
the most interesting part is why did they kill the kids?
You had a game
because why?
FNAF 1 or
there
FNAF
was no
2.
reason to do it,
How do you complete your story? What is your most satisfying ending to this? Or maybe it is Dream Theory.
My satisfying end is kids getting peace they deserve. Jesus Christ, poor guys.
You were a slow adopter to Dream Theory, as was I. You were hoping to come up with a solution that wasn't a dream. So if you were in his position, what is the story that you would have liked to have told?
It's hard to come up with a satisfying ending that everyone will just accept. Because
Sure.
you either hand it to them on the platter, or you make it so obscure that we're debating it for ages.
Sure.
I think the way he's done it is very smart, because it's going to keep the franchise alive.
Yeah.
Because it is going to get people like us discussing it for days, and as you said, the poll is so close.
Right.
So people are still on the fence about everything with all this evidence in front of us. Personally, I would like to have seen...
Smike, peace out. Smike's like dropping it. I'm gone. Dropping the headphones. Peace.
Lol.
I'm done with this.
Smike's too cool for this place.
Right? Too cool.
He's got his shout out on the internet now. He's off.
he's like, yeah. Now that hashtag Smike is cool is trending, I'm done with you guys. I got it happening. I'm out of here. Smike, glad you could join us. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It's great to have you as a part of the stream. Thanks for rushing here to get here on time. You're the best, buddy.
I feel guilty now.
Sorry, Raz. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just had to rib Smike a little bit.
No, that's cool. I'm always in favour of stopping stuff for jokes. It's the best. It's the best way to stay alive.
As is eating and sleep. Yeah, other good ways of staying alive. Jokes, a close third place though. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It goes like your physiological needs, jokes, clothing. There you go, done. All right. So anyway, Razbowski, back to FNAF as told by Raz.
I would have opened the box, because I think that's the most infuriating thing.
Thank you, bot, for commenting.
I like the mystery about it, but unless he was just clever and didn't put anything inside it, but was it... I would like... I don't know, it's hard. I didn't make the games, I can't make the game, but it would be interesting to find out if he ever intended it to be open.
Yep.
like, was it just a metaphor for everything?
Yeah.
I said the story is inside the box, but each of you have to open it via solving it for yourself.
Yeah.
Is that what he meant by the box?
Yep.
Or was there going to be a clue at some point that somebody somewhere would put the pieces together and Scott would update a patch and say, yes, this is it. Huzzah, the puppet comes out, confetti everywhere, there's a grandfather clock noise. Sit down. Scott comes out the box inside the puppet going, yeah. Stop it. And then he plays a fight.
I actually love that idea, and I think that's a great point, right? Where to know whether or not the box was open, to me as well, one of the questions, I think a great question that follows that is there something physical in the box? Like, is it actually a physical thing, or is it a metaphor? You know,
It could be a physical thing. It's all the pieces put together. Is that?
well, it could be.
It's unlikely.
No, if it's all the pieces that are put together, similar to me with the clock. Like, for me, the clock was the piece, or all the pieces put together, like, was symbolized to me with the clock. Like, that was the one that suddenly, like, oh, I get it now, here's where all these things come together. Similar to the Chica Beak. You know, that was another one where the Chica Beak was like, oh, here's a lot of things that suddenly connect. And so, to me, if there was a physical thing in the box, and of course we're talking about like virtual games, so obviously it's nothing real, but to me, I feel like it would be, you know, those 1, 2, 3 objects or items that suddenly like make a lot of things snap together, and it's like, oh, I get it. Or maybe it's a picture of the crying child with like purple guy behind him and phone guy behind him, and it's like, oh, it's the family photo or whatever. But that to me is what a physical object would be in the box. But I agree with Raz. I think, especially now that he's starting to branch out of the main video game storyline with FNAF World, with the books, with the movie, if the quadrilogy of games is truly done and that story of the crying child, the puppet, whatever, has been told, I would love to know kind of his take. And I think at this point the community, and Scott, if you're watching right now, we're talking to you, I think at this point the community is okay with it. You know, I think that similar to, you know, frustrations around Lost, you know, where that story got drawn out and you never really got answers, and then at the end you kind of got unsatisfying answers, but like it was able to be put to rest. I think here there's enough support for game theory, there's enough support for timeline theory, and knowing kind of where you fall, what your thoughts were, how the pieces fit together for you would be interesting. I think the community would be accepting of it, because I know that was your concern. Still talking to Scott, aka the camera right now, but I know that was one of your big concerns, so it's okay, man. We'll support you. We love you. Hashtag love equals love. There you go. So hugs. Oh, hugs for Scott. Hashtag hugs for Scott. So Raz wants to open the box. I want to open the box. Michael, Dawko, what do you guys think?
Michael, how did you know my real name?
Yeah, we've met in person. You know, we're beyond just Mike at this point. You and me.
Okay, for me...
Yeah, what is the story that you want to tell, Dawko?
For me, I wish, if I created the game, I would have branched out the mini-games so we understood it easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how do you access the mini games.
When you're in the Freddy costume, you scan around the room. I wish you did more cutscenes, which explained a bit more, for example, because, for example, my favourite trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's was Five Nights at Freddy's 3.
Yeah.
Because of the amazing animation he did. So I wish maybe he did like a cutscene at the end of FNAF 4 or something where we started to see some things like through cutscenes rather than mini games.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
You know what though, this is gonna sound so trite or like trivial, but I wish, you know, if I were Scott, I would have added more of these cool little moments that have like very, very little chance of happening and that just scare the crap out of you. Like FNAF 1 was the best at that. Like there was so many of those, like for example, the secret Bonnie death screen, where literally if you die, you have like 0.1% chance that you have like Bonnie standing there with like a static noise in the background.
Jesus Christ, that's scary.
Yep.
Die. And that was just so cool. That's just something I always thought about in horror games would be awesome. And I think it's nice because when you're an indie game developer and you're not a big company, you can do these cool little things. And I feel like we kind of slowly lost that as FNAF games, progressed.
Well, FNAF 3 had the Springtrap animatronic like deaths. That's one that came to mind for me. FNAF 2, maybe not so much, and FNAF 4, maybe not so much, but 3 was definitely the one that comes to mind for that as well, where it's like, the Springtrap suit and purple guy kind of like emerging from that. But no, I agree. That was a really cool, and again, like those are pieces that didn't necessarily directly relate to the lore of the game, but were cool little Easter eggs that made you realize that, hey, there's something more here. There is more to this story that I want to explore and experience. So that's really interesting. One more time, since it's been a while since I reminded you guys, if you're just tuning in for the stream, because I know that there's more people coming in. The beauty of live streams, new people come in all the time. You can rewind for the actual episode of Game Theory, rewind to the very beginning of the stream. There's your 17-minute long video, so that way you can get caught up on the timeline, how it relates to the Dream Theory, all that. And then tune back into the live stream where we're starting to wrap things up here, I think. I don't know, any other big questions from the comments or Twitter that we should be answering right now?
It's, a lot of it's really just around what you guys are excited about, any other like final thoughts. It feels like this is like the culmination of Five Nights at Freddy's for 2015, and it's like, okay.
Jeez, 2015, this was 10 years. Oh yeah, it says that it was 10 years ago. Oh my god, I'm sorry.
You have your holiday reading assignment.
I just forget it so easily, lol.
Timeline theory, but that's okay.
Sure, no, that's fine. So I guess the question I have for you guys then is, how do you see FNAF playing into the wider gaming space? Right, so
I don't know, bro. I think it's one of the main scary games out there right now.
But what impact do you think FNAF has had on gaming, on YouTube culture, on this media?
Bro, I sincerely don't know.
Like, what do you think?
Maybe funny stuff and weird stuff showed up. That's what I can say.
What do you think changes from this point forward about video games, about entertainment, about YouTube?
I was actually talking about this to my friend at work today. We were talking about what a success story Scott's had.
Yes.
Because he's such an inspiration in the fact that he's gone from just a loving guy. He's got his family, he's got his wife, and he was working at a Dollar General. Is that right? Part of the story. So that's not a particularly fantastic job. He's made all these games in the past, and he's obviously got a passion for it. And then he gets this hit, he gets this one hit, he gets his break, and he capitalizes on it. And not only has he continued to create games that have inspired so many people, he donates so much money to charity. He's such a nice guy. I mean, the support he's given us as YouTubers, the community in general, the almost one-on-one interaction he gives fans on a daily basis on the Five Nights at Freddy's forums and stuff is incredible. And I think a lot of people have taken stock from that. I mean, you have all these inspiring kids, basically. They're like 10 to 15, sometimes they're a little bit older, and they're going out and making their own FNAF games. They've seen that anyone...
People made their own FNAF games now. They have a ton of them now.
I'll stick to being on the camera, but
I don't know if the fan games are based on the story, actually.
Some of them are really, really good, and I think FNAF gaming, the games alone is going to leave a huge impact and potentially create one of these people that's been inspired by Scott is going to create the next big game at some point potentially, and I think his legacy will last for a long time, maybe hidden away slightly underneath everything, but one of these kids that's been inspired by him alone might make the next big game, and I think that's beautiful, man.
Yeah, I think that, and I think you bring up a really good point there, which is something that, I'm thinking about, game developers wanting to include more Easter eggs, more seeming randomness to things, more unsolved mysteries in order to get people talking about it and all that stuff. But I think you bring up a really good point, which is a very positive part of this.
Positive.
It has inspired so many different communities to engage with this franchise in so many different ways, right? You have all the artists on DeviantArt who are taking their favorite animatronic and doing like fan art around them.
Yeah, that's true.
Theorists on YouTube,
a lot of them.
You know, crafting theories.
Well,
in
my time, like 10 years ago, that was really common, I guess.
Figure out like what is the lore behind this. That's awesome. But to your point, Scott, in doing this, has inspired so many people to be independent game designers, to go out and make their own fan games, to show that, like, hey, you can be one guy who has a passion and look at what you can accomplish, look at what you can do, and that's an incredibly positive impact to leave for a very dark, scary game. You know. But and for a game that a lot of time gets a lot of hate because of it being a sellout and cash grabby and all this stuff, but you're totally right. Like,
it's a cash grab.
The fact that it's inspired so many people to create,
is it actually true that FNAF is a cash grab?
To do their own artwork, to do their
That's
own
kind of
games.
depressing.
Like, an incredible legacy to leave. And like you said, even though if it gets forgotten down the line, you know, or like it starts with Scott and like 6 Nights at Tommy's becomes like the next
Six
thing.
Nights at Tommy's,
like becomes the next game, and it was inspired by Five Nights. Great, that's awesome. And so I think that's a really good point to make there. What about you, Smike, Dawko? Any thoughts?
Well, if it wasn't for FNAF, I wouldn't have met any of you guys. I mean, I know this is getting a bit close here, but you know. One of my best friends is Raz, and without Five Nights at Freddy's I wouldn't have met him, and I wouldn't have even started YouTube without Five Nights at Freddy's. I wouldn't have started a career on YouTube without the game, and that's had a really deep impact on me, because when I'm older and let's say I'm not doing this anymore, I'll always remember this game, and I'll always remember Scott, and I'll always remember everybody who was a part of this like part of my life. It's a big part. I mean, it's been a whole year.
Yeah.
All about this game for me, and yeah, what Raz said as well. A lot of songs as well.
The musicians like Nate Wants to Battle and Graveyard. I can't think of his name.
And It's Me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, It's Me.
And the Puppet Song.
Thanks, Mike.
Great songs, right?
Shameless promotion, Smike.
Hashtag shameless.
Because
Smilkin.
Because they use Click Team Fusion, right, to make Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know whether that's an easier thing to do to make an actual game, but it's gave a massive opportunity for people who haven't even made games before to, you know, try it out. And Game Jolt, you see so many fan-made games based around Five Nights at Freddy's, and some of them are absolutely amazing. Like Ross says, one of my favourite ones is One Night at Flunties.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely amazing, you know. But other games as well, indie developers have made games like The Boogeyman, which is really good, it's FNAF inspired.
Wait, what? I found something.
Emily Wants to Play is a really good.
You know, I'm gonna say I'm on the phone while I'm hearing this, okay? It's kind of boring because there's not much. Yeah, maybe short attention span. But I'm seeing that, you know, there were balls to play with my dog Rex that have these tiny teeth things, and I saw a picture that he's supposed to put on those teeth things as snacks, and I just figured this out after like years. Or maybe it's not, I don't know, this is so random.
Ended up not doing a third one, and I know he had a lot of self-doubt, so I just want to say he makes some great games, and everyone who, honestly, one of the best FNAF fan games out there, one of the most creative ones, and not only was it a good fan game, but it also changed the game's design itself a lot.
Yes.
It kind of broke the rules of the game in some ways and changed it to, you know, his own style.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Mike, any takeaways for you as far as like, as we kind of wrap up this core part?
Oh, I got the honor. Okay. Yeah, I just want to say, like, I agree with you know, Raspowski a lot and Dawko as well. And I just want to say, you know, Scott Cawthon, like, just to me personally, and to a lot of other people, I'm sure he's been a big inspiration.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that, I think Five Nights at Freddy's is almost like a poster child for the possibility of, you know, not just independent game developers online, but just literally any independent person who is either alone or in a small team of what they can accomplish, in the age of the internet, where you don't need a huge team or a huge production budget. You can have, one guy, a family man who lives with his wife and children and works at the dollar store, and how far he can get. And, people like me and you guys, you MadPat, you Dako, you Respowski, Markiplier, we didn't start, rich or, famous. We kind of built that over time, and we didn't have much.
Wait, you're rich, Smike? Smike! You built your rich and famousness over time? Oh man, Smike! Hashtag Smike is cool. Must be doing really
Smike is cool. What?
No, but I'm just saying, we didn't have we're not like Hollywood, we're not like the Kardashians, where we're born into this, or something. It's something that is very inspiring, I think. And whether you're an artist or a game developer or a YouTuber or whatever, I think this is, it shows that you can do stuff. You can do it by yourself. You don't need to, go and find 50 people and build a huge company to make a mark. You can just go do something cool.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we keep saying Scott was this one man who did all this thing. He's a one-man marketing machine. He inspires indie developers. In a lot of ways, he's very much a developer of the YouTube generation, right? Where all of us, speaking on behalf of YouTubers in general, you're writing scripts, you're editing, you're audio editing, you're doing all these different things because you're passionate about it, right? Because you love it, because you have something that you want to share with an audience and with viewers. And Scott did that, even though his first couple games weren't successful, he persevered, and he found kind of that spark that lit a fire under so many people. And similar to YouTube creators where they're trying for years, making all these different videos, staying with it, staying committed to their community, and then finally all of a sudden it's that one that finally they hit on something and there it is, and it's a really interesting story to parallel Scott in kind of the gaming world to YouTube in kind of like the entertainment or like video creation world, and how similar, those mentalities are. For me, one of the things, like I mentioned earlier, one of the big impacts I think is going to happen is you're going to see a lot more catering, honestly, to theorists of the world. I think the gaming industry is recognizing that subpar stories and stories that are just kind of thrown in at the last minute or haven't been really thought about from the audience perspective aren't gonna fly so much anymore. It'll sell some numbers or whatever, but if you really want to generate that groundswell and that excitement around your franchise, giving them Easter eggs, crossovers, allusions to other things, references that then a community can build around and start to piece together for themselves and rally behind, I think you're going to start to see a lot of that, for better and worse, right?
One of the big ones that's come through the chat, thoughts on the social phenomenon that is FNAF, and basically how it was this tiny indie game, and then it's this unbelievable phenomenal success, and how does that change the game for video games in general, for the gaming industry?
Yeah, so that's, who is that? That's Calvin Ball?
That was Calvin Ball in the chat, but it was also, it was so many others, and the chat is going so fast.
Yeah, so Calvin Ball is the one that we were able to pull out. Yeah, it's very true, right? This game shows that, gameplay, that's a core component of it, and the gameplay was that perfect fusion of what YouTube really loved, which are jump scare reactions. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. It's funny to see people scared because YouTube, at its core, is founded between a relationship between a creator and the audience and the person who's watching, right? And so, when you're scared, when you're emotional, when you're, happy, those are the moments that you are most true to life. Those are the true moments of humanity. And it's when you're scared, you're not worried about how you look or how you're acting or how you sound. You're just scared, right? And I think that's a big reason why horror games in general have worked so well on YouTube is you get to see those kind of genuine moments with some of your favorite creators, and Scott was able to hit on that. But then he also had the foresight to say, hey, well, there is something deeper and richer here, and it really has changed kind of the social element of games. where you're instead of, like Ubisoft is a really good example where, you have that single player campaign of Assassin's Creed and you go through it and then it's done, right? Like there isn't a lot of subtext, there isn't a lot of unsolved mysteries, maybe a few Easter eggs.
Okay, my love just said it's not gonna join stream.
Whereas FNAF, like dropping all these little
things,
unsolved mysteries.
But we'll play Roblox anyway.
That people want to get behind and solve. So I think that's that. The different animatronics representing different personalities. And people saying, they're all fictional characters and they all kind of behave fairly similarly, but to see people rally behind Foxy is my favorite, or oh, I love Bonnie, or oh, Chica is so hot, or whatever, like, crazy. But, it hit that perfect formula that really spoke to people's personalities and hit so many people. One of the other things, Raz, to your point earlier about inspiring a bunch of creators, one of the other communities that we haven't mentioned is the 3D animation and like machinima community, which again is one of those kind of small up-and-coming communities that are like, especially when it comes to FNAF, driving just like tens of millions of views on every single video where, people are going in and 3D animating these characters and crafting their own story.
I'm just talking here with my love, sorry.
Engaging with their own adventures with these characters. And that's, a whole new part of, gaming, entertainment, YouTube, digital video that, like, I haven't seen any other game really do. Like, machinima and, like, Halo and stuff has kind of been a thing. But, like, to the level that people are 3D animating these characters and then making them come to life in these videos, that's a whole other thing, which I think is super cool. And there's that whole community there.
And then there's John B13, who met his girlfriend.
Oh, John B13, kid gamer, met my girlfriend through FNAF.
There have been a couple of those that have come through.
Yeah, and it's so true. I mean, like.
Sorry, bro, I'm just having some fun here.
OTP guys, are you the one true pairing right there? Oh, love is love, guys. FNAF is love. FNAF is life. So and. Just to piggyback off of everything that you guys have just said, like, I met all of you through this, the community of theorists, like, expanded exponentially off of this. Like, when I was
theorists a thing before FNAF?
Before FNAF, I think it was. I think, with kind of some of the, like, Mario's Mental episodes and Sonic the Hedgehog, like, how fast is he? There were a lot of, like, debunking episodes and, like, MatPat is wrong, and so people, and so there were a lot of other channels that were doing, their own versions of theory videos. 8-Bit Goldfinch is one, G-Noggin is one, a few others come to mind, that they were doing it. But FNAF took that and just like multiplied it by, tenfold, 20-fold, because now all of a sudden everyone's having their own theories, everyone's seeing our theories and kind of riffing off of those and coming up with their own explanations. And then not even just on YouTube, but like the thousands upon thousands of Reddit threads all trying to come up with solutions here. So like theorizing became a genre, like really became solidified as a genre through this game and really kind of hit mainstream on YouTube through this game, which is pretty incredible. So that's really cool. And even just speaking from personal experience, like, FNAF was a huge subscriber driver for us. It introduced a whole bunch of people to who we are and what we do. And so like, just, it's fascinating to me, because you always hear about like the butterfly effect, and we're all familiar with Until Dawn and like butterfly effect, ripple effects, this and that. And what Scott has done with one game has affected so many lives in such a positive way. And sure, you have people being like, oh, he affected my life in a negative way because I'm so sick of these FNAF videos. But like, that's a small price to pay for the number of people who found fan bases online, who found an outlet for their personalities, for their passions, for their artwork, found something.
Wait, liking FNAF is a personality? No way.
Nothing else had.
Jesus.
And so just kind of across the board,
Thank you for moderating the chat.
The game, the story, the gameplay, whatever.
This is so boring. I'm here just in my phone and hearing and talking, and then but my friend sent me this. I have to watch this.
And for the community of viewers out there who are excited about FNAF World, the book, the movie.
Thank you.
It's not going away anytime
You're adorable.
soon. But I think this is a great moment to look back and say, hey,
Thank you for the
you know,
pet
this is a game that we, like you said, Dawko, that we've lived with for the last year. It was a part of YouTube Rewind. You know, it is a part of our culture now. You know, and to the outside world, outside of YouTube, they probably still don't know what Five Nights at Freddy's is. But to us, it has been so all-consuming and such a big part of who we are and what we do that, you know, to not pay it service and take the time to thank Scott for what he created would be a disservice, because
I thought you said thanks God to what he created, and I was what? It was Scott, not God. Jesus, I got confused.
I give this stream 5 Scots out of 5.
Oh, Patrick Lips, WH332 Wheat Bread. I give this stream 5
My back is so rusty. Which I hope it's not literally, because I have actual steel in my back. So it doesn't get rusty. Oh my god, now I'm scared.
For joining, and thank you, Ryan, who was earlier in the stream. So Dawko, Smike, Razbowski, Ryan, and other Ryan from 8-Bit Gaming. Guys, if you have not checked out their channels, please do so. They're great FNAF theorists, going even deeper than I do on a more regular basis. But then also doing stuff that isn't just about FNAF. You know, there are other games out there, right? I know it's mind-blowing. So,
there are other games. That's true.
You know, playing Yoshi's Woolly World.
Yoshi's what?
Playing all the FNAF fan-made games. I'm actually, you know, gonna look at you guys.
How many FNAF fan games there are?
Playing games on the live stream. I'd like to test out some of these because I haven't gotten a chance to play them. So I'm definitely gonna check out One Night at Flumpty's. So I'm excited about that.
That's a good one.
Is it? Is it a good one? Good. Cool.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So guys watching the stream, subscribe to them. Again, Dawko, Smike, Razbowski, 8-Bit Gaming. Give them some love on YouTube and on Twitter. Thank them for all their work. Thank you guys so much for joining.
After this, the links to everybody's channel and Twitter handles will go in the description. They're not in there right now, but we'll get them in right after this.
Yep.
And you can also explain sort of how to watch this video after.
Yeah, and so just as a reminder to all of you who are tuning in right at the tail end here, just a quick reminder, if you're just tuning in, if you missed part of the stream, as soon as this one's done, it's being published live, publicly on YouTube, on the Game Theorist channel, as the latest episode of Game Theory, because it is. The first 17 minutes are Game Theory. This was a big
Oh, that's why this is a... You could just cut that part. Oh my god.
Proper rewind, watch it from the beginning, and then...
Oh my god, Jesus. I survived 2 hours of streaming, of talking.
With all these great guys who joined us today. So, you know, thanks to them.
You know, there are some cool stuff, I'm not gonna lie, you know, but...
and thank, you know, you, the viewers,
Jesus, is a lot, you see.
know, an incredible 2015. Honestly, like...
I like the content, I like what they talk about, so... Yeah, I learned some stuff.
You know, the theorizing that you guys have been sending all of us on Twitter and in the comments, the requests for new videos, you know, the discussions that you guys have wanted to have, it's been incredible, and it's been so exciting, and I can't wait to continue to see what happens, both with FNAF and with gaming in general in 2016, and over analysis of all this other stuff. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go see Star Wars, because I have not seen Star Wars yet. I've been working on this video,
After reading the chat, I can tell you the entire plot.
Oh no, you know the whole plot of Star Wars?
There were a lot of lies.
Good.
Don't worry.
Spoilers.
I'm glad.
A lot of lies.
Okay, a lot of lies in Star Wars. Okay, so... Oh, thank goodness. I was so good. Voldemort appears as Darth Vader, guys.
Wait, what? No way.
Yoda and Gremlin? There's not a Star Wars Gremlins crossover?
Yeah, Yoda Gremlins tie-in.
No? Okay, well, good. So, we've been working on this theory all week, and special shout out to Earl, who edited this video together and was an absolute champ. This one was under a tight timeline, and then we have the last minute edition with the book release and stuff like that. So, thank you to him. Thank you guys for an incredible 2015. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And remember, that's just a theory. A game theory. Okay then.
What?
No, okay, let's... Okay, let's all do it together, shall we? Okay, ready? Ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. But hey, that's just a...
My god, they're not sinking.
Wait. Okay, let's try it one more time. What are you doing, Smite? Jeez. Okay, one more time. I'll start with the but hey, and then you guys come in with that's just a theory. Okay, ready? Here we go. We got it this time, guys. Don't worry. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. Oh, and hey, that was just a stream, a live stream. Also, thanks for watching. Hey, let's say goodbye to everyone in the chat like we do.
Like you can start spamming people left and right in the chat now.
Spam it away. So
Spam again, Spike.
yes, spam Smike, Spike spam.
Bye.
John B, see you sir. Jenny Guzman, here it comes, and there it went. Let's see. Jem McGravy, good night from the UK. Sweet dreams, Jem. Gabe Moore also joined us in for a game theory, so there you go. Oh, hey, Asura Kishin, Star Gamer, everyone saying the tag with us, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we all nailed it. Thank you everyone for joining us in for that.
Bye, Josh, bye.
Let's see, Josh Rolls, Carlos Sanchez says hi, Smite. Deny.
Okay, we finished.
There's gotta be a code.
Finally, more lore. Thank you.
Today, we end the horror. Today, we solve FNAF.
No, you didn't, because there's like 85 videos. But okay. Look, that guy's just making a random dance. Lol.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, where, after months of intensive therapy, I'm back to finally put the original FNAF tetralogy to rest. It's done. No more Halloween updates, no more FNAF 5 rumors, and no more fan.
I got scared, you're joking.
Propeller of air. So shortly after my last Freddy theory, I arranged a live stream
yeah,
with fellow FNAFers.
No, I didn't saw that stream. I saw other one.
What was something that none of us expected.
What?
We have it, we're back.
No, not the stream issues. Scott started talking to us. Well, kinda. He kept updating his site, scottgames.com, with cryptic messages as to the true meaning of the game.
Okay.
What shadows is easily misunderstood in the mind of a child. In the FNAF 4 minigame,
Kinda.
why would the tiny toy Chica be missing her beak? And finally, 4 games, 1 story. It was incredible! After a year of taking
Okay,
shots
so
in the
the
dark, finally
first
we were,
4 games
in a
are a
way,
story, the other ones are
man
other
who
stories,
knew all the
okay.
answers. Scott Cawthon, the creator, was reaching out from the shadows to give us, for pretty much the first time ever, concrete leads as to where to look. But what did these cryptic clues mean? In the moment, the best I could do was this.
Is it possible that FNAF 2 didn't actually happen?
But in the days that followed, those 3 clues led theorists on Reddit, Steam, and YouTube to
I hope it happened.
throw
Hope
out
no, wait.
everything that they
I don't
knew
know,
about the
bro.
franchise. What if we were looking at the franchise all wrong? Instead of counting animatronic toes, calculating minimum wage rates, and tracking Purple Guy's work history, maybe we needed to take a step back. What if everything in FNAF was just
No,
a
it
dream?
was not just a dream.
That's right, a FNAF
Jesus.
dream theory. That everything we play through in these games was created in the mind of the FNAF 4's crying child. It
I
sounds
don't
like a
think
cop-out,
so.
right? Like a lazy storytelling cliche.
Yeah.
Maybe. But stay with me. Even if you think you've heard parts of this theory before, you'll want to stick around. I've unearthed the clues that finally put our year and a half of FNAF speculating to rest. Of the 3 clues Scott gave us that day, the most damning one was the last one. Why would Tiny Toy Chica be missing her beak? What? In the FNAF 4 minigame, you can talk to a small girl on the playground with toy versions of Bonnie, Freddy, and Chica. But
Okay.
her beak is missing? During the stream, we were all like, Scott, please. But when we looked, sure enough, there it was. A few orange pixels laying on the ground.
Yeah.
What? Seriously? This was the crucial detail all of us
Wait, you're
missed.
joking that a
Yes,
piece of
as absurd as
pixel
it
is
may
like a
sound,
huge
those
thing to a
5
lore.
pixels changed everything. I'll
You're
bet you
joking.
a year worth of theorizing, because that missing beak directly parallels FNAF 2's new version of Chica, who loses her beak when she goes on the attack. It was something we all
Oh
had
my
written off
God.
as a graphical glitch or a design choice, not as a clue to the meaning of the entire series. And yet here it was from the creator's mouth.
Don't you tell me it was a
That
dream. Oh
is when
my
it
God.
started to click. FNAF 2's shiny new animatronics. What are they called? Toy animatronics.
They're
It's not
kinda
just
cute.
a cute name the community came up with, like Freddles. It's right there in the custom night menu. It's canon. That's a strange name for a bunch of robots, right?
Ah,
Not
that
to
Toy
mention
Chica
being
is
literally
cuter.
that they're all just a bunch of oh my god. What if they are toys, and this is all just a dream scenario inspired by these little guys? Well, let's keep going with this toy clue. I mean, obviously, the toy animatronics are shiny, plastic-looking fake, just like a
no,
small
that's scary.
plastic action figure would be. But it explains a bigger question about FNAF 2, the look and design of Mangle. I mean, seriously, the story we're told to believe in this game is pretty absurd, that kids just rip it apart and put it back together again, and so the employees just leave it as a mangled collection of parts for small children to play with. What parent would ever be comfortable letting little Timmy touch that thing? Oh, and here's a cute thing for you to play with.
What?
Oh my gosh! Who could have seen that coming? But if we
Jesus.
assume FNAF 2 is in the mind of a child who has seen all these toys, Mangle makes a whole lot more sense. He's just a dismantled toy. Think about Sid from Toy Story, who fuses various toys together to create hideous abominations. This
Jesus.
explains Mangle's 2 heads. I don't care how much
Oh,
you
it does-
redesign
yeah, it
Prodigy,
has 2 heads.
No one planned him to have 2 heads. In fact, note that Mangle appears in a girl's room. An insignificant detail? I don't think so. The Chica Beak shows that this girl's toys fall apart, just like Mangle, the tear-apart, put-back-together toy. And toys explain
Jesus
FNAF
Christ.
1, too. The crying child of FNAF 4 has 4 plushies in his room. The crew from FNAF 1. Plushies, as in soft, stuffed animals. What are the original 4 animatronics made out of? Soft materials. Fur and fabric, not plastic like the toys. So much so that the one thing that we hear about them throughout the series is that these old animatronics collect odors and never get washed, just like an overused and overloved stuffed animal. But the parallels don't stop there. Why is Foxy
I don't
out
think
of order?
my plushies don't smell bad. Like,
Missing his
what?
head. How about Foxy's jump scare popping in abruptly from behind a wall? Awfully similar to
Jesus.
the way the brother scares the crying child throughout FNAF 4. In his Foxy mask, no less. And how's Golden Freddy fit into this? Well, in the hidden FNAF 4 Easter egg, we see on the TV that the show Fredbear and Friends features the Golden Fredbear alongside the core 4 of Foxy, Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica. That's your cast from the first game. The dream of FNAF 1 was inspired by this show and the plushies, hence it not containing any of the other animatronics. Even the fact that the child doesn't have a Golden Freddy plush, and that instead he has his imaginary friend, psychic friend Fredbear, who appears and disappears at will, directly
Jesus.
references Golden Freddy's ghost
Oh, yeah, that's
behavior
true.
in FNAF 1 and 2. In fact,
You know,
every
I love
game,
these. It's
design
entertaining.
detail and animatronic can be explained under this theory. The recurring elements of the phone and the fan, right there.
Come on,
Favorite
the
toy.
fan is
the
cute.
fact that no one in their right mind would work in a place like this. Dream, firing an employee for something like odor is a child's imagination of what employment is like. How about the weird metaphysical hoops that you have to jump through to access FNAF 3's minigames? Well, dreams have
Okay,
weird
you're
rules where
joking. It
dialing
was
codes
really
into
a
cinder
dream.
blocks
Oh my
makes
God.
perfect sense. FNAF
What
3's Spring
about-
Trap is directly inspired by the girl in her golden body finger puppet that pinches and traps her finger. The idea that the animatronics stuff you into suits comes from this girl spreading the urban legend that if you die, they hide your body and never tell. The naked endoskeletons
way, no
come from
way.
his time trapped in the supply room. Balloon Boy is the dream version of this kid, excited to go to the birthday party.
No
Each
way.
have a single balloon each. Even the oddballs of Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie fit under this theory. They're
Hello,
the
how
product of
are
the crying
you?
child being freaked out by the shadows that Golden Freddy and Bonnie cast onto the
I'm
wall.
watching
And while we're on the
FNAF
subject of
lore
shadows,
videos.
Dream theory even rolls up the purple guy. Let's pull in Scott's second clue. What is seen in shadows is easily misunderstood in the mind of a child. Yes, he could be referencing the shadow animatronics, which are literal shadows. But
yeah, but
more likely referencing
where are those?
guy helping a fellow employee.
Where are those
put on a yellow
animatronics?
suit. They're in a dark, shadowy room, and what the kid sees, or what he thinks he sees, is someone getting violently stuffed into a suit when it's just a mascot putting on its head.
No way, it was all a dream, bro.
We're at Disneyland and then saw Mickey Mouse suddenly take off its head. It would blow your mind.
Why,
You know that
though?
there's no murder happening. It's just employees going about the daily grind. In fact, that's why Purple Guy is purple. In the Atari-style games, shadows are represented not with black, but with purple, as indicated by the shadows cast by the animatronics on stage. That's why Shadow Freddy...
I think the shadow animators never show up in the game 3D, but I guess they show in 2D.
Color. Still skeptical? So was I. Sure, it answers a lot and smooths out the timeline, but there was still one piece of the puzzle
No, I
that
think
was
Dream
missing.
Theory is the right one.
Nagging me. It still felt like a convenient explanation, but not an intentional one. Not something that Scott had planned for the series. All I needed was just that one detail that made everything fit together. But then, while writing this script, it finally dawned on me. The nail in the coffin. The one piece of evidence that no one can deny and that, to my knowledge, no one has talked about in the months of theorizing. The detail that convinced me this
Bro, this
theory
kind of
has to
scary.
be true.
Let's
Are
see.
you ready to have your mind blown?
Yeah.
Listen to the sound that you hear at the end of every night of the first 3 games.
Okay. Grandfather clock? Grandfather clock? It's the same clock?
Grandfather clock, chiming the same song every time.
Don't you tell me.
My shift in an office be signaled by a grandfather clock chime. It wouldn't unless I was asleep, dreaming in my house with a grandfather clock right outside my room.
No
just like the layout of
way.
the crying child's house we see in the FNAF 4 minigame.
Bro, I was so wrong. I'm so sorry.
Get up. But now
There is no timeline theory. It's a dream theory. That's right. No way.
A beeping alarm clock. Why? Because we're no longer in the crying child's house. We're in a hospital, trying to recover from being bitten. Hence the pill,
Wait, what?
IV, and flower Easter eggs. No hospital has a grandfather clock, but they're all equipped with a generic digital alarm clock.
Really? When I was on the hospital, there was nothing like that. It was the machines that made the sound, but it was not for waking up.
Scott intended. My heart is racing right now. I'm so excited about sharing this with you. It feels like finding the Rosetta Stone, the one detail that unlocks everything else in this huge mystery we've been trying to solve. But at the same time, it's bittersweet, right? Remember what I said at the beginning of the episode?
Episode.
Right? Like a lazy storytelling cliche.
Don't tell me.
Agreed with that. If you're honest with yourself, I bet a lot of you. You'll notice across my videos I don't cover dream and coma theories very often for exactly that
No
reason.
way.
They're too easy, too flexible. Because it's all a dream, weird stuff can be written off.
Yeah,
Logical
true.
errors
Yeah,
overlooked
that's true.
simply because it's not actually real. In the theory world, they're OP. They're hard to argue against and can be molded to fit any random collection of details.
True, that's why I didn't like the dream
Thousands
thingy.
of hours combing through all the details, making and remaking timelines, bending over backwards to make every last piece of information fit together across the 4 games. A "it was just a dream" reveal invalidates all of that work. It says that none of it really mattered since none of it really happened. And Scott knows this. Let's look at a quote from Scott in his update on Steam regarding the Halloween DLC.
The Halloween DLC.
Quote, "The story remains completely hidden. I guess most people assumed that I filled the game with random Easter eggs this time. I didn't. What's in the box? It's the pieces put together. But the bigger question is, would the community accept it that way? The fact that the pieces have remained elusive this time strikes me as incredible and special. A fitting conclusion in some ways, and because of that, I've decided that maybe some things are best left forgotten forever." And
what?
To me, the key phrase here is, would the community accept it that way? He knows that a "it's all a dream" explanation would fail to live up to our astronomical expectations. It's underwhelming. What about about the puppet? What about the oddly specific detail of the paychecks? How about Scott confirming on Steam that my FNAF 2 theory was almost 100% correct?
Let's go.
It's this will the community accept it quote that makes me think Scott intended the dream theory to be official, but also understands that ever revealing it would be a huge mistake. Hence him keeping it locked in the box. I mean, you can already see it in the comment threads discussing earlier versions of the dream theory. People enraged by the sheer mention of this thing. Heck, you'll probably see it in this comment section. But it doesn't have to be that way. Sure, the nights themselves may be a series of dreams, but the lore contained within those dreams doesn't have to be meaningless.
There's nothing.
In fact, it's not. Think about it. The urban legends the kids are sharing had to start somewhere. That crying child clearly saw something that made him scared of these restaurants. And then how do the Atari games fit in? Are they just dreams within dreams? They're not. In researching this episode, I not only found the clues that solidify the dream theory, but also the missing links that we've all been overlooking in putting the FNAF timeline together. Scott's final clue about 4 games, 1 story may be a reference to a crying child's nightmares and eventual death in the hospital, but it can also be referencing the story of the game's primary struggle, the puppet and the purple guy. And next week, we're covering that on an all-new Game Theory Saturday the 19th at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, 12 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time. That's noon for all of you currently trying to figure out whether that's midnight or noon. I know, I get it confused all the time too. Why am I telling you the time it'll be published and uploaded? Well, we're covering that story, followed up immediately by a live stream discussion where I, and hopefully a few other theorists, will be able to answer your questions as we close out the year with the definitive answers to this incredibly mysterious series. And I want you guys
it's kind of mysterious,
but
kind of messy. I don't know why.
So remember, that's Saturday the 19th at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, noon Pacific Time for that episode, followed immediately by a live discussion with you guys. I cannot wait to share all of this with you guys. And in the meantime, remember, that's just a theory. A game theory.
Okay, so now we'll be